hearing myself yell at my own head. Oh God, I am so annoying. Stop, Jesus. How do I have 100,000 subscribers? It makes no sense. Continuing on, joining me as always is that long-haired creepy guy.
Yo.
See, he's not nearly as annoying.
There's a lot of people in your comment section that say otherwise, but okay.
And of course, the person who does all of the work, Patricia.
Hey, everybody. I probably would be on the category of most annoying, but only time will tell.
Well, there's Decker and I here, so you just automatically come out in better graces.
Well, that's fair enough. That's a fair assessment.
So yes, 2000 AD for you and me. Now that the title card, which if you follow on Facebook or Twitter, you've seen, has references to some very specific things we're going to be talking about later.
Yes, later. Because the first thing that we need to do is that we need to do a few corrections in our last live stream where we discussed about pretty much mostly San Diego Comic-Con news. So last time we discussed about the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot, but there has been recent news discussing about that. Oh, it's not a reboot. It's actually supposed to be a sequel. So I'll just pull that up and if I can find it. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny that, they claim that it's a quote-unquote reboot, but then I guess the fan base was, really upset that it might have been, a reboot, but then they were like, oh, no, it's actually a sequel. Don't get angry at us. Please still watch us.
And it's kind of funny because it's in the last episode of Live and Wired, I actually said, if by some miracle it just turns out that it's not really rebooting the whole thing, but it takes place after, and this is just a new Buffy, that's the best case scenario. I'm not saying they heard me, but I'm pretty sure that more people thought that.
Yeah, pretty much so.
There's also... Oh, sorry.
No. I'm saying, exactly. I mean, pretty much that's the case.
I do wonder if they didn't, okay, we're going to make a new Buffy show. We've decided that, but we'll announce it, and then depending on how people respond, it will either be a reboot or we'll say it was a sequel. If too many people hate the idea, we'll go with the sequel idea. If people are okay with it or just kind of meh, we'll reboot it. And since the outcry was no, they're like, yep, we're making a sequel.
Yep, pretty much so. And you know what? I mean, you did mention this before, Creepy, about the alternative dimensions and universes that they traveled into in the series. And I guess it made a lot of sense for it to be a different Buffy in a different, location. So I guess maybe this is their stance on it.
Creepy. Bowser the Boss tells me to tell you that you are amazing.
Aw, that's very sweet.
Thank you very much.
Also, Wolf Pro 1's asking if I've seen the new Venom trailer and what I think about it. And unfortunately, while this time on Live and Wired, I did actually go through the articles and read them and watch the trailers and all the stuff that I'm actually supposed to do. I did not get the Venom trailer, so no.
Well, the Venom trailer was for the last one, and we went through so much San Diego Comic-Con stuff that it kind of slipped through the cracks, as well as the Broly trailer, which also slipped through the cracks.
Broly? Oh, damn.
Yes, you see, the new Dragon Ball movie, the very first Dragon Ball Super movie that's going to be coming out is going to be about Broly, and he's canon, and people are mixed about it. But then when they saw the trailer and they saw the new interpretation of Broly presented by Toriyama, because Toriyama didn't do the original Broly movie, he just did the sketch drawing of him. Then people are like, okay, I can get behind this. And but in Super, we were already introduced to Kale, who is sort of like the female Broly. And it's actually funny because when when Broly was revealed to be the main villain for Dragon Ball Super's movie, they were calling Broly Male Kale, which I thought was hilarious. Anyway, but yes, the Dragon Ball Super movie, which is going to be coming out in December in Japan and in January in the States, is going to be about Broly. But yes, the Venom movie we neglected to talk about. There was also the YouTube series that would have featured Natalia Lena and let's see. I think the guy who plays as Draco Malfoy, Tom Felton. So we didn't, and it was supposed to be a sci-fi series. So we neglected to talk about that. There's a lot of things we forgot to talk about. But yes, but in the meantime, let's do some catching up about this Buffy series that now is a sequel, not a reboot.
May I? Could I have the honors?
Please, absolutely.
When news of what was being called a Buffy reboot with a black lead first dropped, I was very adamant that it was something I did not want, not because I found the idea inherently bad, but because rebooting Buffy for the sake of inclusion would only lead to a backlash from fans of the original and hinder the actress and showrunner from being able to have true ownership of the series. Well, in a definite improvement, the upcoming Buffy series showrunner, Monica, I could use some help here.
Uwosubreen.
Owusu-Breen. Thank you. Monica Owusu-Breen put out a statement on Twitter saying that the show will be more of a sequel with a new character as a new Slayer. In the tweet, Owusu-Breen said there is only one Buffy, and that she wouldn't true to replace the original cast or series, and that it could be time to meet a new Slayer. As many have said, the finale of the original show definitely made it fully possible to have a sequel series, since every girl who could have the power will have the power. There's room for more combative Slayer versus Slayer storylines, some with redemptive and some without, which is precisely what we talked about last time, about how, there was, a call for more Slayers, to be within a Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, and to have more Slayer versus Slayers, or a team of Slayers working together. This was made possible at the end of the finale. So yes, they're actually paying attention, to their own material now.
Well, to throw a little monkey wrench in that, Liam D says it might be like Evil Dead 2, where it's a requel. It's considered a sequel. It's the second movie. It's called 2, but it's pretty much the events of the first one, but different.
Mm-hmm.
The news does make me breathe a sigh of relief that I don't have to see any stories about a black actress being driven off the internet in some way because she isn't right to play Buffy Summers. Still, do I wish this were a non-Joss Whedon universe vampire story? Absolutely. I think Owusu-Breen will do a great job, and I'm glad she's going to be behind this show. I just wish there were more of a drive to get works written by black sci-fi fantasy authors on the screen. There are so many talented authors out there whose work should be adapted that, while I'm excited to be a black character do well on a Buffy sequel, it would be nice to see that diverse series didn't need to be a spinoff from already existing white-led shows to be viable. What do you guys think? Does this news about it being a sequel rather than a reboot ease some of your fears, or do you just have new ones?
Yeah, and then from what we discussed about last time, it's a good thing that they decided to make it into a sequel, because it can be a follow-up to the original, while at the same time, it could be its own thing.
It doesn't have to. The idea of it being a reboot, people wanted to remain true to it, but at the point of making a reboot, if you remain too true, then you kind of have no point to exist.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to straddle that and do a really good job. You see, the nice thing with Evil Dead 2 is it being kind of a reboot but still considered a sequel. Is it, even though it rewrote the events of the first one, it didn't technically, but they just added a bunch of stuff because the first one was such a low budget, very minimally done movie, and they just had a whole bunch of crazy shit they wanted to do, and they did it in the sequel, which was a remake.
Exactly. Which is not a very common thing that usually happens.
True.
So it's a nice opportunity for them to stretch out their creativity while at the same time keep to the original legacy.
True.
So yeah, now that we've finished with catching up, now we can go over to some new stuff, which is going to be talking about old stuff because you love it.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, let's actually discuss about one of the things that is featured on Decker's little bit of on the screen right there, discussing about something related to a particular superhero that he has talked about a few times before. Well, there's actually two of them, but let's start off with actually one of them. So, comic writer Rob Williams has completed Judge Dredd pilot script, a possible TV series which may come out based off of Judge Dredd, called Judge Dredd Megacity 1. As revealed by 2000 AD and Judge Dredd Owners Rebellion at San Diego Comic-Con Saturday afternoon, preparations for the television series Judge Dredd Megacity 1 is progressing a pace. With the news that the pilot script and plot for the show's first 2 years have been completed, and a name familiar to Dredd fans is attached to both. We have a $20 question from JVR who says, "Hi Decker, you still haven't checked your Patreon messages. I even asked Creepy to pass along the message. Anyhow, here's another $20 bribe. Please check your messages."
I actually did pass that along to him, just so you know. I just sent him a text message, and I told him to check his Patreon messages. Apparently, he did not.
John Baird saying, JVR, I think that's extortion. And a white girl black wash to feel white guilt dropped 15 pounds currency, saying, Decker, please review Sleepaway Camp 1983. It's about a boy forced to dress like a girl, and he's going on a killing spree. And no, you'll love the ending.
Actually, Yama, Chibi Thulu's voice actor, Decker, and I did a riff tracks of Sleepaway Camp a few years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Memories. But thank you very much for the comments. If you are interested in checking it out, I'm sure it's digged way deep into their Patreon page.
The Nestine 100 is like extortion, campaign contributions. It's a gray area.
Right. Rob Williams, who has written the character for 2000 AD for years, including working on such important stories as Trifecta, Titan, and the I'm sorry if I don't know this one, Enceladus cycle, is the creative lead for the pilot for the show, which focuses on the authoritarian police force in the overcrowded giant city that encompasses the majority of the East Coast of the United States. He's also worked with a group of writers on the show for the plot of the show's first couple of seasons. Despite the title, Dredd will not be the sole focus of the show, which will instead be an ensemble drama. Gee, this is almost just like when we were talking about, I don't know, what was it like? I think a while ago we were discussing about the Spawn movie reboot, and it was not going to focus on Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the thing is with the title cut, I only have a PNG of Dredd in there. Because all I need to express that it's Dredd is the dude called Dredd. Right. That's kind of the thing.
Right.
If you take him out, it's just, hi, I'm in the future and the police are assholes.
Yes. It's like Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within. Just call it The Spirits Within. It has nothing to do with Final Fantasy. Might as well just call it Megacity 1. Anyway, speaking of which, it was announced in May 2017, created in partnership between IM Global Television, headed by former sci-fi executive Mark Stern, who developed Battlestar Galactica and Defiance for the network, and Rebellion Productions, a newly created division of the company that owns the Dredd property. Rebellion creative director and CEO Jason Kingsley will act as an executive producer, with Brian Jenkins as the series producer.
Alien J. Ahmed says, can you pay me 20 pounds to check my email?
I saw
that too. That's amazing. That's awesome. It has been really excited to be working with Rob on the pilot. We have a really talented here at Rebellion Productions. I'm really proud of them. Jason and I have been busy looking at locations and laying out the season 1 as we gear up to move forward into pre-production. Kingsley added, I read the pilot script by Rob and the team, and I got the same thrill as when I first discovered Judge Dredd. As we drive this project forward, I'm always surprised about how much effort goes into the behind the scenes to bring something like Megacity 1 into the screen. I'm very pleased about how the whole project is coming together and look forward to more exciting announcements in the coming months. So, I remember a few years ago that when Judge Dredd didn't do so well in the theaters and how everybody was lobbying to get a Judge Dredd 2 or a TV series. I guess this is kind of like the follow-up to all of the petitions that were going on, except that I don't think Carl Urban's going to come back for this, is he?
I wouldn't think so. If it's going to go straight, I don't know. I mean, how expensive of an actor is Carl Urban is really the deciding factor in my mind.
That's a good point. Probably maybe a little bit too on the pricey side, considering that it's a TV series. I mean, if they can afford it, then that'd be great, but we'll just have to wait and see.
For me, personally, it's not a...
says, here's hoping it gets canceled like The Mist.
For me, personally, it's not a Judge Dredd movie unless the main character is saying, oh, I'm
See, thing is, the 95 Judge Dredd, I think it was 95, right?
I think so.
Around in there, yeah.
Mid 90s. The Stallone Judge Dredd.
We have the internet. Why are we even asking this question?
I don't know, but it's like the Stallone Judge Dredd. The world was very much inspired by the comics, but they twisted it around a lot, like they tended to do in that time period. It's like, hey, should we be accurate or should we do whatever the fuck Hollywood wants? The Hollywood fuck, it's like video game movies. It's just comic books. But the thing is, Stallone really wanted to focus on, hey, we got Stallone, take his helmet off so we can see his face. And that was completely Judge Dredd does not do that in the comics. The helmet stays on. I'm pretty sure he showers with it on.
Also, Decker, yes, it was June 30th, 1995.
Okay,
like smack dab in the middle. It's like as close to the middle of the 90s as you could get.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get any more midpoint to the 90s as 95.
June 30th.
There you go. That's the halfway point of the halfway point of the year. Let's see. Brian Orwin says, Carl Urban was in a sci-fi cop drama that was decent. Okay.
And John Baird says, Judge Dredd has fucking Rob Schneider as comic relief. It was trash.
Wow. Yakov Petrovich Golyakin Sr. gave us 20K, who says, the best part of the evolution of Decker is how fast he says his intro compared to the first videos. In 2 years, it'll be incomprehensible.
Most likely. Hello, I'm Decker.
There you go.
Yep.
Or you just probably say, hello. That'll be it.
Just sit down on the couch. Ah!
Or like, I'm looking for the day when you like say it in an incredibly slow voice, and then you speed up the footage while you're editing so that it comes out sounding normal.
If he did that, it's going to sound like something from Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Hello, I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the Mr.
There you go.
But it's like the Carl Urban Dredd movie was a nice movie, but it really didn't have most of what made Judge Dredd Judge Dredd. As much as the 95 one was campy as hell, had Rob Schneider and Stallone takes his helmet off and screams a lot instead of showing very repressed emotions, kind of like, Judge Dredd. Still, the world that was built around in the 95 movie very much was a hell of a lot closer to the initial comics than what we got with the Carl Urban movie.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends. You know how comic books, they always change over time. And, you have like the newer incarnation compared to the older incarnation.
123784444 game says, what happened to Sandwich?
Oh, yeah, that's right. We were going to make this title of this live stream a sandwich, weren't we?
And for £2.
Right. Maybe next time.
White Girl Blackwash the Feel White Guilt says, Decker, please be my stepdad.
That's so sweet.
But yeah, maybe like next time.
To be a stepdad?
No, next time for Sandwich.
Oh, yeah, but they have been talking to me on Twitter. I I'm always distracted and such. They're like, hey, I respond, everything's on fire. And they're like, that shouldn't be.
Like pretty much any day end in Y then for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, creepy. I mean, you know how hard it is to work with me, and you are like the one who works with me the most.
It was like if anyone who watched Decker's Halloween 4 review, at the end of the credits, it had my name in it because I came in about halfway through. And like mainly my job was just keeping Decker on track and staying focused while he wrote the script and also throwing in a few one-liners.
Yeah, it's every once in a while Creepy would say something and I was just like, damn it! It's like, what? Now that has to go in. It's like, what's so bad about that? It's hilarious. So everyone's gonna say it's so funny, and I'm just gonna be reading the comments like, yeah. As I know I didn't make that joke.
That's okay. I'm sure every time that there's a joke coming in, there's probably going to be like an annotation on top crediting on who made the joke.
Oh yeah, but speaking of the Halloween reviews, just earlier today, actually, the first Halloween review got a nice transcription. And so a very kind soul out there did the closed captioning for it.
Nice.
There were a couple of things when I went through, I had to fix a couple of words, but it's mostly because I mumble a lot. So I don't hold it against them. They did a really good job, and now that's live, and whoop, it's nice.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your amazing contribution. Okay, so let's discuss about the next thing that is up for the discussion, because there's a lot of things to discuss about. So,
yeah.
All right, let's go over to our next bit of news, which this is actually a really interesting thing that I want to actually know your thoughts on this. So, Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm sure a lot of people know about the franchise as well as the actor Robert Englund. So recently, Robert Englund has been interviewed he was interviewed for a panel for the upcoming AMC documentary series Eli Roth's History of Horror, which we'll actually discuss about that in a minute. So somebody asked him about, what would his take on Freddy Krueger be? And he answered with saying, if I had an Eli Roth budget, I would cast different actors to play Freddy for every potential victim, because Freddy is only alive in the imagination of his future victim. They would talk about it at a slumber party or in a locker room at a school or at the bus going home. All we know about this Freddy Krueger is that he wears a hat, wears a red and green striped shirt, and has a clawed hand. In his proposed new spin, Krueger would take on a new look, size, shape, clothes, face, emerging as an ever-changing horror tailored to terrify each new victim. So it could be a red and green cardigan for Freddy, or it could be a tattered baseball cap. He could be tall, he could be short, he could be overweight, he could be muscular. Every one of the victims could have a different Freddy they imagine, and you could haunt them with that Freddy. As a man-turned nightmare-dwelling terror, Krueger would resurface in the real world for a stabbing twist. And at the end, it would be the ultimate victim, and we see Freddy peel, his face open, and maybe it's yours truly revealed. And that is the essence of Freddy. So, I'm actually interested. What are your thoughts on this, about a different interpretation of Freddy depending on who sees him?
Alien J. Ahmed says, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it does. It does sound like
in the latest It movie, there were a lot of things people say were very similar to Nightmare on Elm Street, with how just the way Pennywise works and how Freddy Krueger works. So, yeah.
I guess it's kind of intertwined.
I mean, Freddy Krueger did always have a lot of different forms. I mean, he'd be a TV, or he would be a car, or he'd be a video game. He already had quite a few different things he'd do.
I think the thing that I remembered best was the snake monster that he turned into in the third film.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was actually, to me, that was actually kind of scary.
Being devoured is a pretty horrifying just thing. If you got a phobia, that's probably it. Big thing, I'm in its mouth, I can't get out. It's like, that's the thing in Doom VFR. The thing that scared the ever-loving fuck out of me were the Keiko demons.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I would teleport in, I'd turn, and there's this thing floating there. Have you ever seen a Keiko demon in virtual reality?
No.
This motherfucker is about 8 feet by 8 feet spherical. Mm-hmm. Absolutely massive. No reason why anything that big should be able to float, let alone go and just like a little fucking Zeppelin around. It's got the one eye staring at you, and it's opening its mouth with its other flaps and stuff, and you think maybe it's a little too dark, you can't see in there. Oh no, it's got lightning balls that fucking cast off light, and you see all the rows of teeth in this giant fucking mouth that can easily hold you and all your friends coming right at you in your face, and I'm there quick and pressing myself like, ah! And I was like, okay, then I shoot it.
Wow. And I thought that my trypanophobia was bad.
Also, Decker, that was not the gesture you should have made for urination, just so you know.
Okay. Well, anyway, everyone's saying that the stream was having some terrible buffering. I was getting so angry and so terrified.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that it would like freak people out if the whole buffering thing was happening and then your face just started changing. That would be really freaky.
Okay. But yeah. So yeah, the whole being eaten thing, kind of scary. Keiko demons, absolutely terrifying in virtual reality. Just putting it out there.
Yes.
Right.
Deke Clan Corey asked, To Decker, how long have you had the best hair?
Well, my mother told me that I was born with a full head of hair, so there's that.
Okay, there you go. Question answered. Alex Meany says, can you review Pacific Rim?
It's been a huge request for how many years now?
Ever since Pacific Rim came out.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I don't care if I was actually doing reviews yet at the time. I'm pretty sure people were asking already.
Wouldn't be surprised. But then again, it is Guillermo del Toro, so of course it is.
Roseanne Barr as the new Kruger, says Andres Martinez.
That is scary.
Roseanne Barr with the claw hand and the red and green dirty sweater.
Yes.
And a sign that says "Vote Trump."
Well, I mean, the closest thing is that she was actually the Queen Krang in the 2012 incarnation of Ninja Turtles.
Ash928 says Buffer the Vampire Slayer.
Buffer the Vampire Slayer. I love it. All right. Well, let's go over to our next one. And yeah, I'm thinking that, since we're in a bit of a horror kick, this is actually something that when I was looking up stuff, I was like, wait, what? Is this a joke? Because this actually came in last minute. I was like looking for things. It's like anything that came up that I want to discuss about in the last minute. And then here it is, just staring at me in the face. It's like, talk about me. I just want you to read this.
Harry Flynn saying Donald Trump is Kruger. I try not to get too political, but I'm just thinking about that. How would that work? Donald Trump is Kruger. Would he come out?
Trust me, we will discuss.
Would he have a red and green tie? And how small would the claw hand be?
Very minuscule. Don't worry, we'll be talking about The Purge in a minute. It's just probably going to be the closest thing you'll get to something like that.
Oh, joy.
All right. Here it is, guys. Read it and weep. Like, literally just cry.
Paramount and Michael Bay are bringing you a podcast horror movie.
Why?
Your obsession with podcasts has already taken a dark turn. Can't you ever just sit in silence anymore? Silence and darkness. That's your happy place. Anyway, it's about to get even darker. According to Deadline, Paramount and Michael Bay's production company Platinum Dunes are developing a feature-length version of the Dutch horror short Meet Gimmie, which is, of course, about an evil, or at least evil assisting, podcast. It's an evil enabler. It's a gateway. It's an evil gateway. It's evil gatekeeper. There we go. From the minds of filmmakers David Jan Brongist and Tim Koogman. No, this is why can't people just be named Smith?
Because it's Dutch.
Who will help develop the short for the big screen? Meet Gimmie revolves around a mysterious podcast that, once listened to, has horrific consequences. Think of it like The Ring, but on the radio.
I was about to ask, isn't that the plot of The Ring?
Yes, this is the plot of The Ring, except that we've moved past TV and now we're not even safe listening to podcasts anymore.
Yeah, I was like, this right here is The Ring. Like, that's all it is. You listen, you know, like, it's a podcast now. So it's The Ring gone to the
it's
internet.
even better. A Meet Gimmie IMDb page says, what if the podcast you're listening to can hear you too? So it's like Live and Wired, except it kills you.
Yes.
Jennifer is enjoying the confessions of a killer when he suddenly starts talking to her. Ooh.
Which admittedly is worse than getting hit by a bus, which is for sure going to happen to you if you don't take those earbuds out once in a while. Why is it that I'm more entertained by the article than by the thought of this?
Well, trust me, we've read a lot of crazy articles discussing about this stuff, and they make it more entertaining than what is presented. So yes,
after Maury saying, "Decker, don't kill us."
Now, I will say the idea of, okay, I mean, like, there is something in there that kind of pings in my head. The idea of listening to a radio broadcast or a podcast, and then the person on the other side begins to address you directly, and they start hinting at things like, blackmailing you or making oblique references to something in your past you may have done, and then you either aren't paying attention and have an accident, or they start threatening you and you die somehow. That has the potential to, that could work. That actually almost sounds a little bit like an "Are You Afraid of the Dark" episode, and we brought this up before, but
Yes.
it could work. Yeah,
I know what you're referring to. You're referring to the one about the haunted radio, right?
Right. Yeah, we brought up "Are You Afraid of the Dark" before, but yeah. But my main thing is that this is basically the plot of The Ring, and B, which really feels more like it should be A, but Michael Bay. Do we really need to say anything?
And don't forget that Michael Bay is currently involved in a Dora the Explorer movie.
Liam D says, just sounds like a live stream, and Bobby says, as if people don't get doxxed on the internet. And I'm thinking, it's kind of like, what if you're watching a streamer, but they swat you?
Yes, while the live stream is going on, you in reality are actually sneaking up to the person's bedroom with a knife, and while they're watching you, you're actually killing them behind their back. Because you have serious lagging issues, and they didn't know that what you thought was recording live actually recorded an hour ago.
Yeah, like the killer starts to stab someone and then buffering. Also, Nicholas, or what? Hold on. Nicholas Humphreys. Yeah, I have heard of Cyber 6. I have heard of it. It would be something I would consider in the future.
I've also heard of Cyber 6. In fact, I'm actually planning on doing a future video on it. Okay, let's see.
But yeah, Live and Wire goes on a murder spree. Oh, man. Hey, Decker, we found the plot to our movie that people wanted us to make.
There you go. Thank you, Michael Bay.
Oh, man, and now we have Michael Bay to say. Oh, no. Now that is scary.
Toby Kirkby says, it's going to be one of those episodes of Live and Wired.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, man.
My God.
Okay, moving on from that nightmare.
Okay, let's move on to another nightmare, shall we?
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. Now let's go over to the other nightmare that I was hinting at just a moment ago. So, you want to see Donald Trump in a horror setting, sort of? The Purge. We talked about that The Purge is going to have a prequel that is going to take place in the present, which is sort of like a reference to Trump's Make America Great Again. Well, I guess because everybody was so, crazy about it the first time, and this ad is not going away. I'm going to refresh it. There we go.
Thank you.
There we go. So, The Purge TV series, because, yes, everybody asked for this.
I'm just confused. The Purge.
And this thing won't go away. Yeah, The Purge. I've only seen a handful of Purge movies. I think I saw maybe one or two. I think I saw the first one, and then I saw the second
Daniel one. Daniel DB631 is nothing like a good straw man.
Okay, fine. I can make this go away. There we go.
There we go.
Okay, so anybody want to?
Someone very quickly said, if Decker and Creepy and Patricia does a movie, I'm flying to Texas just to see them film or be in it.
I missed the commenter. It scrolled up too fast and I can't read his name. Oh, wait, it popped up again. Ghoul Russ, I think it was. It says, is The Purge bad?
I guess it depends on how you perceive it. I mean, basically what The Purge is that it takes place in the future and everything is all peaceful and happy. And then there's one day in which people can commit murders and crimes without being arrested by the police.
Yeah, any crime, but for some reason they always pick Moida, which they in the article here, they say they do actually kind of bring up in the series because, hey, you know what? Death isn't the only thing people can watch TV for. There's sex, too. Adultery is a crime in, a couple states.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey. Instead
and
of
by
just
the way,
going to
no,
the
Bane,
state for
I
like
did.
a whole fucking part of the year, just let's wait for the purge and fuck. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, out of all the crimes that they really do focus on in these movies, it's all about the murder. And very disturbing things too. Like there, I think it was in either the second movie, I think, in which the characters are being captured and put on stage by a bunch of rich hoity-toity people, and they're making bids on them so that they can be able to find ways that they can be able to kill them in very sophisticated manners. They treat it like it's a show and they're applauding. It's like, man,
Alien
really?
J. Ahmed said something pretty relevant here. He says, during a purge, I'd be stealing food. And I'm thinking, like, if there was a day where no crime, all crime was legal, what would one do? It's like, well, I wouldn't just, if I had to kill someone, I wouldn't do it just because I got to kill him. Maybe, hey, go fucking rob somebody. Like, pretty hardcore. Like, big, high profile target person with a shitload of, like, why would you just kill everyone else who's poor around you? Why not go after the big guy? I mean, yeah, they got guards and shit, but you're going to have like a whole lot of really poor people with guns and stuff to go against the one mansion with like, what, 10 guards?
Yeah. Lazarus Soul 82 says, during the purge, I would be tossing dwarves.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna dwarves, trolls, goblins, critters.
Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to go kill people and steal their money. This is a hypothetical. They're talking purge here.
Jacob Kennedy says, steal 1,000 movies. Sure, 1,000 movies. I mean, I guess.
God. Yeah, I don't even have to risk life and limb. I could just stay home and like download everything.
There you go. You can download it illegally, and you won't have to worry about being arrested.
Illegal because it's the purge.
There you go. Pirate all the movies.
Download every single movie ever, and just, there we go. Oh God, Flurb Knight, you deviant. He says during the purge they'd be using plastic straws.
Oh, that right there is controversial.
Yeah.
Jason Club says, during the purge, I will not do my homework.
God damn.
You are a risk taker.
The real glow dice saying, just joined, what's going on? It's like, oh, we're just all discussing the horrible things that we would do if we could get away with anything.
And apparently we're still buffering. So sorry, everybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah, my whole thing with the purge is they seem to have a very, like, not a very good grip on the realistic idea of what such a thing would happen. It's like they got an idea of something to go with, but they never come up with a really logical way to explain it. So you just kind of have to accept that the purge is not the time that you can get away with all crime. The purge is just the time for people to murder each other in a celebration like a holiday. That's it. That's the purge.
Yeah. And also there's a lot of people who are saying like, what would they do? That cult dude would be stealing the toilet paper. The Mad Groper would say, I would rip off the tags off of my mattresses. I would. Red Spark says, during the purge, I would drink tea out of a coffee cup. Yes. So yeah, I mean, do some fun stuff, man. I mean, it's not all about the murder, but I guess that's what makes it appealing to some people. And now we're gonna get a TV show off of it.
Yeah, the TV show fucks up it's a murder celebration holiday with the adultery that's illegal in like what, 8 states?
Pretty much.
There's a very small amount of people who have to worry about that, honestly.
Yeah.
And generally, you could just still do it and not go to jail. Like it's on the books, but no one cares.
Mm-hmm. I think Mississippi may be one of those states where adultery is still illegal.
I don't know if it's still illegal in Texas or in Houston specifically or what, but I know that there was something about a law about it being illegal to spit on the sidewalk. But let me just tell you, no one gave a fuck.
Yeah. And like there are even weirder laws. Like I read somewhere once, I don't know if this law is still in effect, but apparently it was illegal in an entire state, not just in a county or something, but for an entire state
Bobbert Bobbies during the purge. All mattress tags removed.
Robert White says, I would have all the video games. Jack17KH says, I would steal all the pets from the pet shop.
I would, let's see, I'm sorry. Okay. John Ratsey, I would even go to McDonald's and steal all the nuggets.
Yes. Why demand 1 million tweets on Twitter when you can just steal all the nuggets?
Yes.
Oh, during the purge, Darkful 456 would kill all of the Skyrim chickens.
Yes.
Oh
man. Yeah.
I think we're just giving better ideas than what they're even doing. So
yeah.
All right, I think we've had enough here.
Oh damn it! I was gonna give what I would do, but never mind. Nobody wants
just
to
say it now. I mean, just say it now.
No one wants to hear it. I would walk naked down a public street in broad daylight.
Don't you do that every day?
The thing with the purge movies,
every day
stories is they seem to have a very they seem to speak very ill of the idea of the section of the population that seems to have the idea that, you know what, it's a nice thing to have firearms and shit and stuff like that. It's like, and it's kind of obviously it's a story, it's fiction, it's just caricatures, and it's just what it is. But when it comes off that kind of not too well thought out, and you might happen to be part of a segment of the population that likes to be armed, I don't know. It's just a thing. It kind of tends to piss you off when that kind of stuff is like, really? Oh, come on.
Fair enough. Fair point.
But I try to separate myself. Try to say, okay, just as a movie, as a story, how is it? But I mean, I've never been too enthused to really dig in too much. But every time it kind of comes up, I'm just like, I'm too poor to buy even a candy bar. So it's on the purge that I must take out my diamond-encrusted AK-47 for revenge.
Sure.
Guns aren't cheap, you know. You don't need the diamonds. Jesus.
It's like, do the diamonds make the gunfire better? Like, is that why they're there?
Or maybe as to, you know, actually give away your position while you're trying to hunt somebody with the diamonds glittering in the moonlight.
Jerry and Maury saying, I knew it. Live and Wired is going to kill us.
All right, let's go over to our next set of news. Let's talk about something that let's talk about something that's a little less serious. Well, a lot less serious. So, Sharknado. We're going to be having, yes, woohoo, the sci-fi movie series about sharks and tornadoes.
I'm wondering if they actually thought more about the science of how the sharks get in the tornadoes than the purge. Everything is legal, but we only kill each other.
Right.
All right. Well.
Actually, believe it or not, there is. I mean, like, not with sharks, but there is a science to it raining fish. What do you call it?
I know about like raining frogs and such.
Right. You know, it will basically tornadoes over the ocean will scoop up fish and then blow them inward, and they rain down onto towns. But they're tiny, they're small ones. They don't, they're not really huge ones, and they're definitely. And as far as I know, it's never rained sharks. So, but there is.
Well, some sharks are small. Maybe it has. Just like little guppy sharks.
So who knows? Maybe throughout history there has been a Sharknado in real life, but probably
if it started raining fish big as sharks, I wouldn't care if they were carnivorous or not. Raining whale sharks, I don't want to be around.
Yeah. Oh, man, imagine that news story. Anyway, I'm sorry, we got off topic again.
Not really much to discuss about except that they're announcing that this is going to be the final Sharknado movie out of the bunch. It's the sixth in the franchise, and it hints on time travel because that's all we wanted in a story about sharks and tornadoes. Time traveling.
Hey, they each one, they're just trying to make it bigger and more insane. And I gotta say, going into different time periods with a shark, that's something they didn't do before. And I'm wondering, like, what in the future did they come up with special anti-shark lasers and they can actually take out the Sharknado as soon as they go back to the caveman times, and the Sharknado tears through, and like half of the world's geniuses ancestors are dead, and then we're really screwed in the present. We got to stop the Sharknado then, but we go to the future to get the best things to stop the Sharknado. I don't fucking know.
I don't even care.
Also, Bowser the Boss, you're welcome. It's too bad they're stopping at 6 movies, though, because if they added like 3 more, Decker, you could have the summer of Sharknado.
Oh man, that would be so painful. But hey, look at the bright side. At least it's not like stretching out into 10 movies and maybe have a crossover with some other creature from the deep, and then maybe spun it into a reboot.
That's true.
Oh, the cult dude saying, so will it interrupt the Jaws set and a shark will land on Spielberg? And Liam D says, Bill and Ted's Fishy Adventure.
Yes. Exactly. Bill and Ted 3 is going to be crossing over with Sharknado because that's what everybody wants.
Yes.
Ghoul Russ is like, 6? There are 6 Sharknado movies?
Yes. I couldn't believe it either, but yes, there are 6 Sharknado movies. And I cry. But seriously, though, time-traveling sharks, or them going back in time and tackling sharks possibly in the Middle Ages or in prehistoric times, or I don't know, but seriously, this is weird.
The origin of the Big Bang is it really was a Sharknado.
Actually, no, Dicker, we've already covered that. The origin of the Big Bang was I am Tetsuo from Akira.
Yes.
All right. Canada. There we go.
Canada?
No, Canada.
The other guy.
Yeah, the other guy, right.
The red motorcycle guy.
That guy. Okay. Well, if you thought that was over, oh no, the worst is yet to come.
Yay.
So you know that I just joked about how, at least that Sharknado doesn't have 10 movies, a crossover, and then a reboot. I was hinting at our next topic. Okay, so Decker has covered a few things from Full Moon Productions in the past. Demonic Toys and Doll Graveyard. But the one thing he has not covered yet is Puppet Master.
Despite the requests all the time. I think there were actually a few in the chat already.
Yes. All right, so as of right now, Puppet Master has about 10 sequels, one of them including a crossover with Demonic Toys. And now they just added something very similar to Child's Play. We're getting a reboot. Puppet Master, The Littlest Reich. Because
I was sad because when you sent the link, when I was checking, I was going to watch the trailer for this one, and I couldn't because for some strange reason, YouTube removed the trailer about Nazi puppets.
Yes. Because they were perfectly okay with Nazi zombies in Overlord, but no, Nazi puppets, we're pushing it way too far.
I want Nazi zombie strippers.
Yes, we're probably going to get that eventually.
I'm going to write that one.
That sounds like a Michael Bay movie. You realize that, don't you?
I'll work with him on it.
Okay, so yes, puppets, Nazis. Yes, the reboot of the surprisingly sturdy Puppet Master series is like, why won't this thing die?
Yes.
Is very real and very, very crazy. The series is about a plethora of antagonistic puppets brought to life by various evil spirits. Gets a gory reimagining from Bone Tomahawk and Brawl and Cell Block 99 director S. Craig Zahler, who wrote the screenplay to the upcoming Puppet Master The Littlest Reich, which recently debuted its trailer, which unfortunately, as Decker said, it is not available because they removed it. So, yeah.
People in the chat saying that they used the word Nazi in the title. I don't know if he used the word Nazi in the title, but it probably showed up quite a few times in the comments and such, and probably after a certain threshold, it was like, hey, people are talking about Nazis quite a lot in this, so let's just remove this right now and check it later, because that's what we always do.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the movie will be coming out in
Except for the
theaters.
checking it part, they just remove it. I don't know what to
Right. Right.
Right,
So
right.
yes, the movie will be coming out in select theaters and VOD services on August 17th, which as of the making of this is going to be coming out in the next 2 weeks.
Awesome.
Yes.
Nerdbane's like zombie hookers in the Third Reich, and I'm wondering if they're going to start drawing that. But anyway, it's Nazis from the moon, lesbian Nazi hookers abducted by UFOs and forced into weight loss programs.
What? Sure.
I just imagine like lesbian Nazi hookers on treadmills, just like.
What?
Okay.
Now people
Well,
are gonna have me a little gif of me marching zombie like with my hand up in the salute. That's gonna be an interesting gif now. I know it.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But that's not even the most ridiculous concept of a person who, did horror. Oh no. The most craziest thing that you will never imagine about a person who kind of attempted on doing a horror movie, or at least some kind of semblance of it.
Oh
So,
God, Nerdbane.
yes.
That's a great idea, but terrible at the same time. Don't say that. Nazi zombies versus Jewish werewolves. You see, I've seen so many Nazi zombies, I understand, but I'm thinking like, what would a Jewish werewolf look like?
Nazi zombies versus Jewish werewolves.
Would they
Obviously,
have, like,
obviously, yeah,
little
exactly.
things?
I'm like the whole thing.
Would they still have their yarmulke on? Because I mean, the rest of them's naked.
Yeah, at least you have to have the yarmulke. Yeah, and instead of a silver bullet going after them, it'll obviously be a potato latke because it'll be clogged due to like so much oil being fried, and it'll be hurting their arteries.
I mean, it's obviously you'd be rooting for the Jewish werewolves in that movie.
Yeah.
No one roots for zombies or Nazis. So
No. All right. Well, here's the thing. I couldn't even believe when I saw this. A person who did a horror movie on YouTube 10 years ago involving with a girl band from the Disney Channel.
yes.
So, Kim Kardashian made a horror movie with the Cheetah Girls in 2008. No, I'm not making this up.
They told me I had to see it, but I just read the article and I was like, yeah, that's enough information for me.
Yeah. Sometimes videos or photos that you posted in the past can come back to haunt you. In that case, it's literal because Kim Kardashian made a horror movie with the Cheetah Girls in 2008. There's 3 parts of it. And the movie is called...
oh God, so much screaming in the chat. Like, what? Ah! Fuck, you gotta be fucking kidding me!
Yep.
No, this is real. This is real. I wish I was making this up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the movie is called Meow. It's essentially a whole movie and 2008 time capsule, which is even more of a treat because Kim doesn't play herself. She plays the lead singer of a girl group called the Kitty Cats named Princess. In part 1, you see Kim as Princess lounging on the couch with Balin, Brian, and Williams, who I assume are the girls from the Cheetah Girls. Just please leave me alone. I need to get ready. She sits on her BlackBerry and doesn't see a man wearing a creepy white mask pouring something into her drink. Spoiler alert, she dies in the first 2 minutes. I want to see this now. But yeah, so if you can just look this up on YouTube, you'll be able to find it. But seriously, I can't even believe this thing even exists. It's glorious.
Meow from 2008.
Yes, Meow from 2008. Kim Kardashian and the Cheetah Girls, and Kim Kardashian dies in the first 2 minutes.
2008 YouTube wasn't nearly the size it is now, so that's it's kind of impressive that they actually posted something to YouTube that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question now. Was this movie made and just never released, or was it?
I mean, I
made
guess it
and
was
released and then just faded into obscurity.
Yeah, I guess it just faded into obscurity because 2008, the Kardashians really weren't that known until they got their TV series, and I guess
that's true.
And I guess because of all the controversies with the Kardashians, I guess somebody just looked it up on YouTube. Is like, hey, you actually did this once upon a time.
Yeah. Okay. No, I was a little confused at first, about if it was it really, has it been that long and people just didn't notice or what?
Yeah, this is YouTube. You're supposed to at least notice something at least once.
Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of want to see Decker review this, or maybe Decker
damn
and
it.
I should review it with her together.
That would be hilarious.
Uh-huh. Like, is it still available? I'm looking now.
Yeah,
It's
I guess it is still
for
available.
free on YouTube.
Yeah, I guess it is. I'm just gonna click on it without like putting it up.
2008, you said?
Yeah. Okay. Yep, it's playing, so that means that it's free up YouTube.
And the Jason guy is asking, have you guys seen Friday the 13th, 2009? And yes, that was part of the Summer of Freddy vs. Jason, but I think it has been age restricted, so you might have a harder time finding it than you otherwise would have.
Mhm.
Yeah. Nicholas Humphreys, I know you want me to do a video on Courage the Cowardly Dog. I'll need to actually watch the series in order for me to give my thoughts on it, because the only thing I know about it is the What a Cartoon pilot.
To be fair, there were some pretty hefty sex scenes in the Friday the 13th, 2009.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah. Okay, so while I'm trying to get my head contemplated on what just happened, can we just do our Twitter poll now?
Yeah.
No, I've actually deleted it, and we will never do it again.
Okay.
Actually, no. We are doing a lovely live and wired poll with the idea of Kim Kardashian having done a little indie YouTube horror movie. Not 28 minutes, you bastard. I need 30. 30. There we go. There's the question that comes up in my mind and Patricia's mind and Creepy's mind, and I hope your minds. Which celebrity would you like to see make a horror film? Now, this have to be celebrities that don't generally do horror, and I hope we pick those, or at least don't generally star in horror.
Mm-hmm.
I spelled that wrong here, I noticed. Okay. There we are. So, 4 choices. Number 1, Drake. Number 2, Nicki Minaj. Number 3, Ariana Grande. And finally, someone to actually star in a horror movie or horror independent film, like, just so you know, that's why it's not associated with horror in that way. Finally, Markiplier.
Yes.
You can find that on Twitter at Decker Shado. 30 minutes to vote starting now.
Yes, and as always, I'll be sharing the tweet in the chat. What have we done?
We started a Twitter poll.
Yes, we have.
We did what we always do.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. So, while I get the Twitter poll up and going, what should we cover next? I guess I guess we haven't covered video games in a while, so let's do that, shall we?
Sure, why not?
All right.
Yes, I'm going to add the Twitter poll to the description of this. This is going to be in a second, but yeah, you could just go. Oh God, are people commenting on that already? Yeah, they are. Now I'm getting a bunch of followers on Twitter. Okay.
All right, let's discuss about some video games because we need something to offhand the fact that Kim Kardashian made a horror movie. Yeah. All right, so as earlier stated, that Judge Dredd will be possibly getting a TV series. There's also talks that Judge Dredd might be getting a video game. Judge Dredd video game. Huge 2000 AD games hits. Judge Dredd, the video game, seems like a real possibility based on Rebellion founder Jason Kingsley comments. Okay, let's see. Who wants to read this one? It's pretty short.
I'll do it. I haven't done one in a while.
Sure. Yes.
Judge Dredd could be about to get the video game treatment. The 2000 AD comic book character has made surprisingly few video game appearances over the years. There was a 1995 platformer which was released alongside that year's film starring Sylvester Stallone. This was followed by Rebellion's very own Judge Dredd game in 2003. But if Rebellion founder Jason Kingsley's latest comments are anything to go by, it looks like the popular character could make a return to gaming soon. Speaking exclusively to Express Online, Kingsley said that Rebellion was open to license its intellectual properties to third-party developers. One thing I said about a year ago is that I was still opening up to the intellectual property catalog to third parties, Kingsley said, which they just said in the article. That's really redundant. We've had a lot of interest in that. A few deals have been done, nothing announced yet because we're working on stuff. But we have a lot of people interested in working with us and their visions for our intellectual properties, which is really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So there's
Yeah,
like
you made it
no
sound...
next to no information about us actually getting the
Right.
thing, but which would be really nice to get. But I'm personally like my brain like went into hype mode all of a sudden, trying to put together my own Judge Dredd game that I really want to play all of a sudden, which means I'm going to be horribly disappointed if they do make anything because it's not going to be what I thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I mean, it's like, you have any ideas what you would like out of a Judge Dredd video game?
All I can imagine is going around and shooting people. Like, that would be the full extent of the Judge Dredd game.
Think of it
I'm going to download this video and just cut that part and just out of I've always had this dream of just doing a little out of context quotes video of a bunch of YouTubers, and I want to use that for you.
Sure. I would imagine it would be like LA Noire. Instead of interrogating people, you shoot them. There you go. That's it. Game over.
I mean, Judge Dredd, as far as I know, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, there was not a lot of intellectualism to Judge Dredd. It was mostly just, he lives in dystopian future in a city. He's a judge, which means he has legal authority to execute people if they've broken the law, and he deems that that's necessary.
Well, it depends on the specific law that was broken. I just missed the $10 super chat. It's scrolled up. I'm trying to. Okay,
I got it. Don't worry about it. Okay, we got a $9.99 chat from the Mad Groper who says, "I thought Kim Kardashian's horror movie was her sex video. Thanks for the great videos and laughs."
Welcome, and thank you.
But yeah, it's like the judges had the law to follow. They had to memorize the law. They had the law like a Bible. It was it was, I think, intentionally supposed to be kind of like put as a faith. Like, this is what you live by.
Yeah.
And
K's World says it's basically Doom 2016 with a different skin. That could be
the game that they're thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
That could be a possibility.
Should I say what I'm thinking of?
Sure, absolutely.
Because when I get into it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm thinking what I would really love out of a Judge Dredd video game would be, number one, virtual reality.
Oh, wow.
Number two, if I can't get the rest of the gameplay in virtual reality, flat game, because the gameplay is very important, but I would love to play this in virtual reality. Number two, virtual reality, because, what's the gun that they use called? Damn it, I'm not the best Judge Dredd fan. Lawgiver. That's right. I like Judge Dredd, but not enough to actually read any of it. But the Lawgiver, yeah, it's got all the different modes. It's got all this different things. Voice control for that. How many VR headsets have a little microphone on it? Like, boom, just do that. And a lot of voice commands actually work now if they're simple enough. And the Lawgiver tends to have relatively simple commands. Mm-hmm. And you can say that you can have like the one controller you're holding that pretty much works like a pistol. And you say what you want it to do, and you see in the game it transform into the mode, and it tells you what mode it is, and you hear that in 3D audio from the gun. And I was like, okay, we're going to use it and all that stuff. Have like some augmented vision to tell you what people are breaking, what law and shit, and be able to check back and stuff, and be able to hop in your little cars and shit and drive around a megacity block and have a small like have it take place in a megacity block. And the whole story is encompassed in that. That's your jurisdiction. That's where you're going to uncover the things. Kind of like sort of sandbox, Grand Theft Auto sort of.
So basically, you're thinking of it like Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Because in Watch Dogs, when you're receiving your cell phone connections, you get to see what the other people's names are, what their information is about, how much are they in trouble. So basically, Watch Dogs, except put it into the Judge Dredd skin.
Now, Mad Groper saying, don't think virtual reality stuff is good enough for all of that. And it is very tough to make a nice, big, highly populated, open world game in VR with like a mega city kind of density to it and keep that at 90 frames a second and looking good. So yeah.
Although I imagine Decker playing this game, and what comes to mind is him stumbling around his house, waving the gun around, firing at random, yelling his head off, and because he's complaining about how bad the frame rate, the buffering, and the pixelation is.
Well, it's like when I was fighting the bear in Skyrim VR recently. I say recently, but it's been a long time since I streamed anything on the gaming channel. I really need to get back to that. I just stopped that entirely because I was just like, oh god, I gotta finish the script. Yeah, there was a part where the frame rate dropped in Skyrim VR, and it was just a slideshow, and I'm there like, oh god, bear, die, please, please.
Yep.
Yes,
That's
pretty much.
it.
Yes.
But yeah, that's why I
Exactly.
said, if you can't do it in VR, then it's flat gaming. But the open world, like 40-hour something story, explore a megacity, do what you want pretty much, but at the same time you have to follow the law. But there's so many people breaking the law, it gives you plenty of opportunities to fucking shoot people in the head for jaywalking.
Love it. Okay, well, now that we got that finished, let's discuss about some other things. Actually, one that a lot of people have been asking about what our thoughts of, and this actually was revealed like a few days ago. So we did talk about this in the San Diego Comic-Con Live and Wired about Terminator 6. But now they're revealing some new information, such as some pictures. I'm sure that everybody's been seeing this over the past couple of days, that this is going to be, what essentially are going to be the main characters of Terminator 6. And we have Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor rocking off the shotgun and the cool vest. And we have two new characters with us. I take it that one of these characters...
I don't. I was actually sitting here wondering, who are these two?
Yeah, I think they say some more information about who these characters are. Right here, actually. Okay, the cast
Is one of them a robot?
Let's see. Yes, one of them is a robot.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay, the cast includes Gabriel Luna as a Terminator and Diego Bonita as the brother of Reyes' character. So yes, one of them is a robot. And one of them is the brother of somebody else, Reyes. I have to look that up. But yes, so I take it that the one in the middle is the robot. I think that's the Terminator. I think this is our new Terminator. And here we have another character. So.
And Nerdbane says Disney's Christopher Robin looks like the real horror movie. Those dolls are frightening to me. I watched the part of the trailer for the Christopher Robin, but I didn't have sound on. And dear God, when Pooh came up, holy shit, he was scary.
And this is Decker. I just want to say right now that this is Decker, not me, who's saying that.
Yes. All right, so let's take a look into this. So, Deadpool director Tim Miller is at the helm of this untitled Terminator film, as James Cameron as the producer. Miller, Cameron, and producer David Ellison came up with the story, which will be a direct sequel to Terminator 2 and will ignore all the other sequels. So it's similar to like Halloween, in which we're going to ignore everything but keep the one that everybody liked. So, yeah, this is a franchise that has a somewhat messy timeline, so it'll be interesting to see how the whole John Connor of it all will be handled. The cast, we already discussed about it, and let's see if there's anything else. No, there's nothing else. So that's pretty much it in the long run. And the movie will be coming out in November 22nd, 2019, so it'll be coming out next year.
Okay.
Yeah, not really much information other than what we already knew from San Diego Comic-Con, but now we just have a picture. So
Right.
I guess that's something.
The Mad Groper says, when Pooh comes up at the wrong time, it's always scary.
Also, like that's kind of been a trend with tonight's Live and Wire as far as the articles go is, we've had the article about Michael Bay doing a podcast horror movie, but there wasn't a whole lot about it. I'm sorry, hold on.
Go ahead.
I need to silence this.
I'm just going to check mine. Oh, crap. There's a lot of stuff going on, isn't there? Yeah, there is. Yeah. Okay.
I apologize to everybody. What I was saying is there's been a lot of articles online that say some things, but ultimately don't have a lot of information.
Yeah, to be fair, this stuff is new, and since it did come, and since San Diego Comic-Con was a few weeks ago, there's only been like little breadcrumbs here and there of new information. So there's not really a lot that we can be able to talk about. So
Right.
that is fair to say.
Yeah, I'm not laying blame on anybody. I'm just saying it's been a trend tonight. It's been like okay, hey, there's this new thing. We don't really have any information about it, but new thing.
Yes, new thing. Hey, I mean, at least it's better than pretty much almost every single episode of Live and Wire where we cover about there's a remake of this, there's a reboot of this. This thing's canceled.
Jerry and Maury was asking if I have PlayStation Plus because of a whole bunch of things that are going to be free on PS Plus this month, including Dead by Daylight.
Mm-hmm.
And is anyone familiar with Dead by Daylight here?
No.
No.
I have that on Steam, but I haven't actually played it on PC. But it was pretty much the Friday the 13th video game before the Friday the 13th video game actually came out. Where it was the player who in the multiplayer game who played as the killer was a safely not copyrighted murderer guy going around the safely not copyrighted camp area, killing the safely not copyrighted campers who were also other players.
Okay. Fair enough.
Who are trying to survive a certain amount of time and escape and all that stuff. So that's going to be free on PlayStation Plus I think in like 3 days on the 7th is when the stuff comes up. It's like the first Tuesday of a month usually, I think. I can't think. What's brain work talk brain. But there's other things. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a VR horror game that I don't have that is also coming on PlayStation Plus. And because of that, I'm like, okay, here's something else I can play and not be scared, but I'm going to enjoy live streaming that.
That'd be fun.
Also, Next Gen Sci-Fi says, it's Michael Bay, pick up the phone.
And that cult dude says some characters are copywritten in the later updates. And I think, they did have like actual Freddy Krueger or someone who, if it's not actual Freddy Krueger, boy, they did not try to hide that one.
All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it for the most part. So let's talk about something else. This will be probably something really interesting. If you ever do go back to doing those 420 reviews, 420, which is basically National Weed Day. This is actually something really funny. Have you ever wanted to see a stoner comedy version of Home Alone with Ryan Reynolds as the producer? Well, here you go.
He was the protagonist.
Well, he may be the protagonist, but in the meantime, he is the producer of a rated R comedy called Stoned Alone. Because now we need to make stoner versions of Christmas classics. Because of course we do.
If he's not starring in this, can I?
Sure. Why not?
Decker Shado is alone, getting high, playing video games, and complaining about movies when two escaped criminals try to rob his home. Clearly, the only choice of action is for him to booby-trap his residence.
James May says Decker Shado versus long-haired creepy guy VR. We could do that. You could get a PSVR and download Rec Room, and we can have combat.
All right,
that'll be fun.
You realize how expensive a VR set is, right?
You already got a PS4, so you're already halfway there. $2 Canadian from I missed who it is.
Rids.
All right.
He's asking any plans for a They Live review, and that has been a big request for quite a while. So I really should. How many times am I going to say that? I should put that on a soundboard.
Take a shot every time Decker says that's a big request. I'll get to it eventually.
That has been a big request, so I really should.
Yeah. Probably should have done that already.
But yes, so let's see what this movie is about. Stoned Alone is reminiscent of that hollowed comedy classic. It centers around a 20-something weed-growing loser who misses the plane for his holiday ski trip. He makes the best of things by getting high. Paranoia sets in. He believes that he hears somebody break it into the house. Turns out thieves have broken in. Fully stoned and fueled with paranoia, he tries to thwart the thieves and defend his castle. Reynolds will produce through his Fox-based Maximum Effort production banner, and with Maximum Effort's George Dewey will be the executive producer. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Frizzle is a new comic voice. She directed Never Going Back, which premiered at Sundance. Will be releasing at 8/24, and she'll be directing Euphoria for HBO. The writers for scripted the Netflix, the comedy that has been called Eggplant Emoji is now called The Package. Okay. The original Home Alone was released in the holiday season of 1990. Executives fought with writer-producer John Hughes for a $2 million budget disagreement. It grossed out $476 million, spawned 2 sequels, and made a star out of Macaulay Culkin. So, yeah.
Eddie Herta says, the end, he was so high he forgot to take down the traps and dies.
I want that to happen.
Yeah, I can see that. I'm just thinking, like, if you are just that high where paranoia sets in, how are you getting around with the wrapping up? Like, I'm going to set up this paint can that swings if he hits this tripwire, and it's going to come down the stairs and whack him in the face. So I got to get the height right on the pulley there that is very luckily already up there, because God knows I'm not getting the ladder for this shit.
Yes. What's going to be next? Are we going to have, we're going to have Stoner Elf? Are we going to have Stoner Polar Express?
Oh, man.
Whoa. Those motion captured people look really weird, man.
Or Patricia. Stoner Ween.
No.
Now, they did technically smoke on the way in the first movie when they were going to their babysitting job. They were getting high, but it was 1978 weed, so... And also, the cop didn't even smell it, so it's like... Well, they said, I'm pretty sure he did. I think he didn't. And it was his daughter, so maybe he would have let it slide. So, I don't know, maybe he did smell it and just didn't care because daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to arrest you and ruin your life. Ah, shit, that's right. That's right, I want what's best for you. Damn it. Well, don't get killed tonight, okay? Bye.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, let's see what else that we can be able to cover that's just downright ridiculous, or maybe actually pretty cathartic. So we talked about in the last live stream about GameStop, about how they were talking about selling the rights to it due to not doing very well in sales and possibly wanting to
just dropped the $5 super chat saying creepy, anticipating your Mystery Inc. retrospective.
Thank you.
Oh.
So am I.
Yes. I'm looking forward to that too. All right, so praise and glorify because GameStop pre-orders bankruptcy. For all the people who had been gypped by GameStop, just so you know that their time will be coming to an end really soon, as they reported on Chapter 7 bankruptcy.
Grapevine, Texas. Retail gaming giant GameStop has reportedly reserved a claim of Chapter 7 bankruptcy, one of finance's most buzzed about states. I've never had anything happen quite like that, said financial advisor Tyler Ford. This guy came in and gave me $5 and asked if he could pre-order bankruptcy for an entire corporation. I gave him some forms to fill out and told him they were free, and he seemed confused. He kept asking for a bankruptcy Informer magazine, and I am 99% sure that does not actually exist. The company's anticipated financial solvency is based on several factors, perhaps most notably the increasing share of the marketplace that digital sales have occupied. Despite the many warning signs of impending disaster, however, GameStop remained vocally optimistic. We still aren't sure when we're going to pick it up, said GameStop CEO Daniel A. DiMatteo. But that's what's so nice about pre-ordering. We can be sure that we'll be able to redistribute our proceeds to creditors on day one of our inevitable crumbling. What an exciting opportunity! Sources have confirmed that DiMatteo asked if there were any higher-tier bankruptcies he could pre-order that would include perks such as a discounted legal counsel or amiibos, but was told no such options were available. Look, it's not my place to tell anyone how to do their job, he said, but if you're not in every customer's face trying to convince them to buy a bigger and more inessential version of the thing they came in for, how do you expect to stay in business? GameStop's bankruptcy declaration still didn't have a street date, although many have speculated it'll debut by the second quarter of next year. And Nicholas Humphreys dropped $5 Canadian saying, Decker, what are your thoughts on the new Predator movie coming out? I just missed. Pressing buttons. I'm not supposed to be pressing. Okay, up. It's not scrolling. That's great.
The other question was, would you be up for reviewing District 9 or Reanimator?
Okay. Now, the Predator movie, the trailers I've seen, I saw the initial trailer that they started where they had the damn kid like, and I was like, Argh! And then they had the next trailer where it was most of the same stuff, but recut a bit. They showed more Predator and much, much less kid, where if you blink, you miss the fact that he's still in the movie. And it was a better trailer, but I'm like, but the movie's the same. I know it's the same one that they had in. And then there was the news saying, hey, they actually did cut some parts. And I did a little research and found out that there was some sort of thing with like a party of happy, helpful predators that show up that evidently got cut or reworked some way. I don't know.
And lest we forget about the female predators.
Oh, yeah. I still have no idea if they... I saw a female predator from Nerdbane, but it's...
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's not the kind that's going to be in the movie. Anyway, we got a 99-cent super chat from GTS Wrestling saying, and then he said, I made a donation. Say it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your patronage.
Yes.
So, yeah. On the Predators, the Predator, the new Predator movie, God, it's going to be hard to keep track from the Predator, Predator 2, Predators, the Predator.
Yeah, that's not confusing.
The other Predators, they'll run out of room and they'll have to call it that. The
Predator.
The Predator.
Midsummer Night's Predators.
Live free or die Predators.
Beauty and the Predators.
that was the first AVP.
I want to see that movie now.
That was the first AVP. Beauty and the Predators.
Oh, okay.
I want to see Beauty and the Predators. So
District 9, I'm not sure of because I really haven't seen much of it. All I know is it started life as a Halo movie, but that's kind of all I know about it. Yeah. But Reanimator definitely want to pick that up and get in as high quality as I can and see what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Lady and the Predator. Thank you, John Ratzi.
Predator and Predability.
Pride and Predators.
Pride and Predators. Yes. Changeling Rider donated $5. Roses are red. A female turtle is named Venus. Kairyu Sento is clearly a genius.
Nice. Okay. Thank you for the point.
Very nice. M. Night Shyamalan's Predator.
Oh God! No, not Child Predators. Harry Flynn. No.
The Fast and the Predators.
Guardians of the Predators.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Predator.
There you go.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
Lord of the Predators, the Fellowship of the Predators.
Oh, we got some Lord of the Rings news, actually.
We do, actually.
That's right. We do.
Thank you for bringing that up. Thank you for bringing that up because not only segue time. Otherwise, we would have been here forever.
No.
The Predator Hobbit. Okay. CNET announces that Amazon Studios has chosen J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay to turn J.R.R. Tolkien's world into a Prime Video show. So we're going to be getting a Lord of the Rings TV series.
On Amazon Prime.
Yes, on Amazon Prime to be more specific.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon Studios has named a writing duo to lead the creation of a Lord of the Rings television series. J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay will both develop the series. Amazon said on Saturday that will bring author J.R.R. Tolkien's world to the Prime Video streaming service.
Also, real quick, GTS Wrestling dropped $1.99, and his super chat was, "Say Freddy versus Jason!" So
okay.
I guess, and it was like, "Say it!" So I guess... should I start it with the summer, or should I just...
It doesn't matter. I don't care.
It's 2 years gone now, but Oh well. Freddy versus Jason. It's not the same without the after effects, but oh well.
Yeah, so sorry, guys. The two are currently listed as writers for the next movie sequel to Star Trek, as being in part of the writer's room for 2020's Godzilla vs. Kong. We feel like Frodo setting out from the Shire with a great responsibility in our care. It is the beginning of the adventure of a lifetime. The two have a long journey ahead. The show is expected to start production within 2 years and hit Amazon streaming services in 2021.
Mad Grover says needs more cowbell.
Yes.
Also, they feel like Frodo, so does that mean the madness will be sitting in soon?
Yeah, pretty much.
Dora the Predator explores. Oh, we're still on that. Common Rider Predator.
My life is a teenage predator.
White Predator can't jump.
I like that one. I like that one just because of how obscure it is. Thank you.
Oh god. Okay, so on the Lord of the Rings TV Prime series, I'm not so enthused about it.
Me neither.
Because it's like we had the Lord of the Rings movie series, and there's the extended cuts, and that's pretty damn extensive.
That's 3 hours long.
I was going to say, that's like 9 hours of movie watching, all 3 movies together.
Yeah, not to mention The Hobbit. The Hobbit movies are also the same.
I'm thinking that the TV series will fall into some of the same kind of tropes that episodic, like, TV kind of things do. And I'm wondering, like, out of this Lord of the Rings TV series, where's the episode where Samwise and Frodo just draw that line in the middle of their little hobbit hole? You go over there, and I'm going to be over here, and we're just not going to talk.
Or like take the opposite approach and do like a Twin Peaks sort of David Lynch thing where there's a hobbit that shows up by the river wrapped up in plastic and has been murdered, and then for the rest of season 1, before they even get around to finding the ring and leaving the Shire, they first have to solve the murder mystery.
Make it Game of Thrones, in a sense, in which we have Frodo and Samwise being tasked to do something when at most points everybody's pretty much going to die, and you shouldn't really care about the characters because there's going to be at least betrayal at some point, and we have the different perspectives of all the kingdoms.
Lord of Rings, bitch. Lord of Rings, bitch. Lord of Rings, bitch. Lord of Rings, bitch. I love Lord of Rings, bitch. Lord of Rings.
Lazarus Soul 82 is just saying, but what if they made it more like Game of Thrones?
Because it's not Game of Thrones.
2.5 predators.
My Little Predator, hunt is magic.
God damn it. We got too many Predator titles.
I thought we would be finished with this by now, but there's like a whole slew of Predators.
It's still going. It's like the Energizer Bunny in the comment section.
Oh my god. Twitter poll's over. Let's go.
Okay, that was fast. Either that or we just talk about Predators too much.
We
All
did.
right.
I
Here we
think
go,
it's
guys.
the latter.
God damn.
Okay, so Live and Wire poll results. Which celebrity would... Go ahead.
We got 59 total votes. Number 1 by a fucking mile. Markiplier at 66% of total votes. Second place goes to Nicki Minaj. She only garnered a 15% vote share. But close behind, Ariana Grande came in at 14%. Poor Drake only got 5%.
Poor Drake. Boo.
A lot of people want to hear Markiplier scream.
We got some nice comments. Sahara Mist at Queen Bandana says, the only reason I voted for Mr. Markiplier is because I'd think he'd make a decent protagonist, while as the others on the list would be so self-absorbed, even on screen, and make every frame agonizing to sit through.
Yeah.
And then we have that is
Ray Friend. Believe that's a gif of the Undertaker.
Yes,
it is. Seizure-inducing one.
Very next.
Warren Smith says all of them killed within the first 10 minutes. Then the titles.
Leslie
boy.
Nielsen from Airplane.
Well, he was in Scary Movie.
Yeah, that's true. So,
Like
and
one of the
also he
scary
was
movies.
he was in Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I loved that one.
Mina, you are in the closet.
Cal,
I have
Cal's
a I
like,
have a
that
tight
guy
I have a tight I have
from
a
the
tight
song, you know, what's his face?
I have a tight schedule to confront Count Dracula. Dracula? Schedule?
Psycho says Mark is a god. Jolly Ronin says, I'd settle for Little Wayne. He already looks like an underweight predator. Little Wayne is Little Predator.
Sure.
Markiplier would be awesome in a horror movie.
Cat Laniska says, I picked Nikki, but I think I like the idea if Nikki is the final girl, but one of those who kicks major ass like the one girl from Alien vs. Predator and other awesome kick-ass final girls. Now I'm thinking of Nicki Minaj as the girl in Alien vs. Predator.
Actually, this just gave me an idea for a horror movie. Like the kill, like standard thing. The girls have a slumber party. They're all sitting around giggling and laughing.
Finally, Sareth Brightscale says Markiplier would be awesome in a horror movie. Now you were saying?
I said that earlier. Actually, shame on you.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
I know. Shame on you. But this actually gives me an idea for a horror movie where, it's the same thing. Girls, giggling, having a slumber party and something like that. The killer shows up, but then it turns out all of the female characters are actually kung fu masters. And so the twist is now the killer is running for his life from a bunch of angry teenage girls who are trying to murder him in retaliation for trying to murder them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, goddamn. Now, Satoshi Katsumoto says Predator's Bizarre Adventure, Plasma Crusaders. SJS34 is Predator the Musical.
Long Dread, Creepy Predator. Oh, man.
I can imagine a Predator musical. I'm here to hunt you down where you be. Come and fight me like a man.
The Predator at the Chocolate Factory.
Iron Predator.
We're still going with this. This is crazy.
Predator Man. I like this. Start the Kickstarter. Cat Luna. Is it Luna?
Luniska.
Luniska. Okay. Cat Luniska. Are you talking about all the Predator names, or are you talking about the idea for the horror movie I just mentioned? I'm curious to know.
Oh boy. Okay. Brain. Oof.
You started something you will never. Predator the genetic opera.
Predator of the opera.
Oh my god.
Satoshi Katsumoto says you've started something you will never stop, Decker.
High School Predator.
Predator is in black.
Oh god.
All right. I guess we better go over to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fairly odd predators. Oh man. Cannot be.
No.
Okay. Please
Okay.
keep going. Stop me before I read again.
Okay, so let's go over to another thing that I want to ask you guys some questions and further thoughts of. So, let's see. Does The Equalizer 2 signal the end of the old man action movie? So apparently this movie that Denzel Washington starred in, which was a sequel to The Equalizer, did not do so well in the box office. And now people are asking questions about like how back in a few years ago that there have been a lot of movies based off of action stars from the 80s and 90s, similar to like, The Expendables and such like that. And now...
Why do they have such nice names like The Predator Wears Prada? How can I just not mention that?
Predators Take Manhattan. I actually like that as a title.
Okay. The Equal Predator. God damn it.
Okay. Let's see. So yeah, they were talking about how back around the 2013, there have been a huge kick into the popularity of how about these action stars from the 80s and 90s? Let's see if we can be able to have them back in action movies and pretty much just go into the popularity of that. So we had Bruce Willis with Red, Liam Neeson with Taken,
Kevin Burdine with Double O Predator.
sure. And in Denzel Washington's case, we have Equalizer. And so with the popularity of the superhero...
The Nutty Predator.
That doesn't sound right.
Depending on which version. Are we talking about like Jerry Lewis or Eddie Murphy? Because that would all sound wrong.
Or Disney, The Predator's New Groove.
No.
Cody Yoder, I don't know about this title, but he's like, shut the fuck up about Predator. Snow White and the Seven Predators.
Never getting back onto top.
Okay, so continuing. With the popularity of superhero movies and franchise
Predator
releases...
2, Dead by Predator.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Okay, so Equalizer 2 did not do so well in the box office. The popularity has then shifted over to superhero movies. And now they're asking questions about whether that the old man action movies is even anywhere near relevant as it is anymore because they're pretty old and they're pushing their age. Is it time that maybe we focus on younger actors to play in action movies? Or has it gotten into this point in which they can't pull it off anymore? So that's pretty much what the question is. So I need to know your thoughts. Do you think that, people such as like Stallone or Schwarzenegger or Denzel Washington or Liam Neeson, do you think they should just hang up their guns and their kick-ass fighting skills and make way for the new generation because this is pretty much just ceased its popularity? Or do you think that this is just like a blip into like just one movie that it's going to continue on anyway? Because Tom Cruise, God bless Tom Cruise. We already talked about Top Gun 2, but Mission Impossible, the newest movie that's coming out, is getting like huge praise. Yeah, Fallout. Mm-hmm. Not to be confused with Fallout 76. But yes, Mission Impossible Fallout has gotten huge praise. They say it's the best of the franchise, 97% on Rotten Tomatoes. And, Tom Cruise is like in his 60s.
God, then Doki Predator Club. Okay, so anywho,
it's never gonna stop.
On the Jerry Action topic.
Yes,
I think that this is more of an outlier, sort of a blip. Not so much that the wave hasn't gone down. I think it clearly has. I'm just looking. Dobby knocked over a cup. I'm like, was there coffee in it or was it empty? Little piece of. Anyway, the craze, sort of the big like, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Base the popularity of old men action movies.
It's pretty much gimmick, but
yeah, sure.
What's the word I'm looking for? Is the novelty. There we go. The novelty of it is not nearly as high as it was when you started having like, okay, let's just have the old guard come back and do what they did before, and it's like, wow, I haven't seen this kind of stuff in so long. Boom. So that's waned quite a bit. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that the Jerry Action genre isn't viable anymore. It just means it's going to have to be based more on its own merits rather than its novelty, because it's lost its novelty. It's just another genre now.
Yeah. Liam D says, I think it's 80s nostalgia that's kind of falling out.
Yeah. The 90s nostalgia is kind of coming up, and I'm not happy about that because I like 80s nostalgia.
Yeah, and don't, just praise it while you still can, because we still have at least another couple of years or so in which, 2000s nostalgia is going to start kicking in, because that's when the kids who are born around that time are going to start hitting like high school and college.
Right.
So that means that we're going to be able to get like fond memories of the Matrix or, the original X-Men and Spider-Man movies or whatever action movie was out during that time.
Right.
Blade says no, the 80s will never die.
They will live on in Gem
And
and the
Alien J.
holograms.
Ahmed says Predator and the Chipmunks.
Are we still on this?
Most of the comments are still Predator titles.
You guys are really persistent. My God.
Strikes back.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, let's see what else we can cover that's not Predator. Oh, I forgot. Yes, we need to do a little bit of a somewhat promotional thing
Lion the Witch
regarding
and
a
the Predator.
Yes. Anyway, we have a little bit of a promotional thing to discuss about, courtesy of our good friend John Massari. So, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. We did discuss about in the last live stream that, they were going to be doing the whole Universal section in Universal Studios, the Halloween of Horror. But for those who were upset that maybe you're not in the Orlando area and you can't see it, or maybe you weren't able to go to LA to see the concert, well, don't you fret, because there could be a possibility that it may be coming over to your nearby town, because they are thinking about taking the live to film concert event on tour, and now they're taking bookings.
Killer Predators from Outer Space. Wait, no.
No.
That's just too normal.
All right, so go ahead. Why don't you read this one, Decker?
Okay. We're excited to learn today that Night Entertainment Group is representing film composer John Massari's Killer Clowns from Outer Space live-to-film concert throughout USA, Canada, UK, and Europe. A special concert event wherein Massari conducts the score live while you watch the film. And the package deal includes an appearance from the Dickies. It's all part of a 30th anniversary celebration of the cult classic horror comedy, which kicked off in Hollywood last month with a live-to-film concert that tore the house down. How it works is that venues can now book the event with or without Massari himself conducting, and fans are encouraged to request the event from their local orchestras. The Cosmic Clown Circus begins with stilt walkers, balloon folding artists, contortionists, fortune tellers, strongmen and women, magicians, body art, fan arts and crafts, and of course, the Killer Clowns. Pre-show Q&A and meet and greets, as well as members of the Dickies, American punk rock band, and composer John Massari. Film screening with its original musical score, performed live by your orchestra or symphony, by your option to be conducted by Massari himself, and finally, to the delight of hardcore fans of the film, LA's very own original punk rockers, the Dickies, will perform their enduring classic Killer Clowns from Outer Space theme song.
Yes. So if you want to know more information about that, you can check out their website, or you can check out this promo, which is up on Vimeo, for more information. So,
on John Massari's YouTube, he had a post that he put up, and he says in the description to get them in your city, reach out to your local orchestra and request that they contact our night at KMIpresents.com. So RKNIGHT at KMIpresents.com.
Yes.
To program this awesome live-to-film performance for their next concert session. And you can go to KMIpresents.com, probably have the contact information there too.
And I have the website up.
Ghoul Russ says U.S. only, I guess, but on the article they just said United States, Canada, and UK, possibly more.
Maybe more.
Let's hope.
So yes, it's right over here in the website, KMIpresents.com. All you need to do is you just click over here, get in touch. Just click on that and see if you can put in a request if you want to have them in your local area.
And make Decker's trip to LA feel redundant.
I got to eat pizza with Mr. Massari. Yeah, that's a win.
Yeah, and also you got to meet up with the Kyoto brothers, so that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
I got to ask them one question, and then everyone was very busy. Live and wired.
Well, hey, I mean, I guess it wouldn't make you feel too bad that you missed out on the concert when possibly you might have another chance.
Oh yeah,
that's true.
All right, so with that done, let's go from something a little bit upbeat to something kind of disastrous because everybody loves to see misery. So let's talk about Asura. Asura, which was a fantasy movie.
Yes.
Yeah, Asura. China's most expensive fantasy flick of all time. It bombed in the box office. It bombed so badly that they had to pull it out of cinema. So basically, it was like their attempt of trying to be like Lord of the Rings, and damn it, there we go.
That's things just didn't go right.
Yeah, no. How badly does your record-shattering, expensive fantasy movie have to tank with opening weekend audiences before you screech all marketing to a standstill, yank the bomb from theaters, and then hope everybody just forgot the whole thing? Well, if your market is China and your movie is the lavish CGI live-action fantasy Azure, think of it like Lord of the Rings style swords and sorcery, epic, and you'll be in the ballpark. Recuperating at least 10% of your production budget would have been a nice start. So they only made $6.8 million out of a reported $110 million to make. They saw that it was so bad that they decided to just pull it out of the theaters. And there's a trailer of it if you wanted to see it. Directed by Hollywood stunt veteran Peng Zhang, the guy who also was responsible for Kick-Ass, The Last Samurai, and Kingsman: The Secret Service, Ashura was intended to launch its own multi-movie franchise. Go ahead.
No. Dobby's being a jerk, and I think he's drinking coffee, which means he's going to be pooping everywhere.
Oh man.
Dobby.
Anyway,
okay, you read that. I'll get up real quick. I'll just be right back.
No problem. Ashura was intended to launch its own multi-movie franchise starring major Chinese A-lister Lei Wu along with Karina Lau and Tony Leung Ka-fei. The movie is set in its namesake realm of Asura, a vast and colorful realm of desire that's CGI enhanced to portray all the magical and supernatural lore of its Buddhist mythological roots. The movie is reportedly China's most expensive domestic film ever made, and a lineup of American creative talent brought in to help Asura and its distinctive world make it look like a serious blockbuster project. The film's costumes were designed by Oscar winner Nigella Dixon from Lord of the Rings, with Hollywood veteran Martin Hernandez serving as the audio director, who was involved with The Revenant and Birdman, and Charlie Iturrigia from Deadpool and Furious 7 supervised the VFX work. So, yeah, long story short, the movie was just a huge critical and financial flop. And they're going to be pulling away in theaters, and I don't know if it's even going to be featured in America. It might, maybe, but I don't know. Probably it's just going to go straight to DVD with hopefully nobody even knowing that it even exists. Until now.
Yeah. Did they give a specific reason? Was it the acting? Was it the plot?
There's no really a lot of information on why it became such a flop. Let's see if there's any.
I mean, there's usually at least one or two things that people can pinpoint. Usually, when they say that something is genuinely a plot, people. I'm thinking of the Gem and the Hologram live action movie. Where they said that most of the acting was stiff, the plot was just paint by numbers stupid, and so forth. But they did praise that the lead actress playing the main character. She was good. It was just she was acting good in a terrible film. So
here it is right here. Producers chalk up some of the movie's bad box office juju to online trolls, alleging that Chinese ticket websites, which accounted for less than half of the country's ticket sales, were artificially spammed with bad early user reviews in a coordinated attack. So trolls were responsible for the movie not doing very well.
Okay.
But Ashura also faced two box office headwinds from Dying to Survive and Hidden Man, two successful films that feature some of China's biggest stars.
Oh. Which kind of makes the whole troll thing seem, is that really what happened? Or are they just looking to, are they looking for an excuse?
I don't know. But yeah, for the most part, this is a pretty sad ending to movie that we don't know for sure whether it deserved it, but nonetheless, it's kind of like a sad way to end it off in. But who knows? Maybe the movie will garner a cult following when it reaches DVD or on demand.
Right. And yeah, it does sound a little bit like they're more like an excuse than a legitimate reason.
Yeah, so with Decker still dealing with the cat. So I actually have an article that you can actually check out that I think that would pass the time until Decker gets back.
Which is right now.
Yes, which is right now, obviously. Oh, never mind.
So, what I miss?
Oh, we were just finishing up our conversation about the movie, so that's pretty much it.
Okay, Flex Tape says Nightmare on Predator Street, and I'm thinking that a Predator on Elm Street would probably be work a little better on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so creepy. Let's talk about Young Justice again.
Woo!
All right, so Young Justice is going to be darker and more serious than the previous seasons, because everybody knows that when it comes to DC, they want to make things dark.
Actually, this doesn't shock me for two reasons. Before we even get into the article, this doesn't shock me for two reasons. One, simply because of how season 2 ended. You know, the stinger at the very end when it shows. Well, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it. It shows Vandal Savage. That's right, Vandal Savage standing with Darkseid. So, yeah, that's a pretty good sign that things are about to get bad. And the second reason that I think that it doesn't shock me is it's on Netflix, so they don't have the exact same censorship problems that they would have with other, they don't have the same kind of limits on Netflix that they do with network television. So, yeah, I'm sure they're going to go there.
The Nestine 100 says, darker and more serious. Always a winning strategy for DC.
Yes.
With Young Justice Season 3 set to premiere on the DC Universe streaming network, it's learned the series will be darker than the previous 2 seasons, which aired on Cartoon Network. Young Justice creator Greg Weisman, spoke with Nerdist revealing the news. Because we're on a streaming service and we're not on Cartoon Network, we don't have Cartoon Network standards and practices. Like
we can say fuck!
Yeah, departments can tell us what we can and can't do. This has freed us up, and this season is more mature. It's a little darker. Definitely delves deep into our characters, and it also allows us to delve deeper into the DC universe. Hooray! News of Young Justice Season 3 going darker follows recent Teen Titans trailer, Fuck Batman, which shows the characters and series to be darker than a lot of fans have been happy about as well. Some arguments are being made that the DC Universe streaming network series are mirroring the dark tones of Zack Snyder's DC EU films, Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman. Too much. That's debatable. Because, I mean, okay, there's darker, exploring deeper and more mature themes, and then there's Zack Snyder, which was just like all of the fight scenes of Dragon Ball Z strung together, plus really, really poor editing and questionable, like the colors in Man of Steel were so muted at times that, it was like looking through a grainy filter. And then there was the bad editing. And then there were some of the questionable casting choices and directing decisions and plot decisions. So making Man of Steel, air quotes, dark was really further down on the scale in terms of problems that movie had. So that's a questionable statement. But anyway.
On the flip side, Stale Bacon's asking, what do you think of the new Shazam trailer?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it yet, so yeah.
I've just seen pictures of him, like Shazam, sitting around like a 7-Eleven or something. Like, hey, I got a nice Slurpee. I don't know,
but yeah.
Yeah. You want to know something funny? I actually did hear about this in one of the articles that they actually confused Shazam with Kazam.
Oh god.
There's a difference.
There is a very big difference.
One of them was originally called Captain Marvel, and he's in DC. The other one was a 90s movie featuring a genie played by Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah.
And
What were
the
they
Matt
thinking?
Roper says, blame WB. They knew who they were getting. All I had to do was watch Sucker Punch.
Yeah.
Am I like one of the? Am I like the only person in the world who actually kind of liked Sucker Punch?
I've never seen it. The only thing I know about Sucker Punch is that they were the same game company that did the Sly Cooper games and Infamous. That's all I know about it.
That's.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the movie, though, right?
Yeah, the movie,
Yeah,
not the game company. The movie.
Yeah.
I've never seen the movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh,
So, okay, so yeah, there's a lot of things that we can talk about. Oh, let's actually bring up something a little bit funny because, speaking of Halloween, Decker just posted up Halloween 4. The new Halloween movie. The director wants to feature a particular cameo from somebody.
is it me?
Yes, no, it's not you.
No, you said it was.
No,
Now I got to drown my sorrows.
okay, it is William Shatner. So he wants William Shatner to appear as a cameo in the new Halloween movie. So
I'm for that.
That would be interesting because if everybody remembers that the mask is based off of the likeness of William Shatner's face. So I guess they want to pay their respects to that. So that's actually a pretty good idea. Anybody who wants to read this one?
Decker should.
Nobody?
Longtime Halloween franchise producer Malik Akkad has tried for and hopes to win an appearance by Star Trek legend William Shatner, whose face inspired the iconic blank mask worn by masked murderer Michael Myers. Nice alliteration there.
Very true.
A mold of Shatner's face, used in 1975's Robert Fusset directed horror The Devil's Reign. What the okay. A mold of Shatner's face used in 1975's Robert Fust directed horror The Devil's Reign was utilized by Don Post Studios to craft Captain Kirk's Star Trek masks, one of which was modified by the original Halloween filmmakers to give Michael Myers, the Shape, his eerie, white, and unmistakable mask. Asked by Halloween Movies if Shatner had commented on association with Michael Myers, Akkad answered, "Not to me directly, and from what I hear, he doesn't really acknowledge it. I think he makes light of it. We actually have one of the original impressions of Shatner on our office in LA, so obviously we're really grateful to him. And in certain ways, we tried to reach out to him to maybe do an appearance," Akkad said. Lord, no, he's busy enough with Star Trek stuff, but you never know. Shatner, a regular on the convention circuit, previously addressed his ties to the knife-wielding serial killer during Dragon Con in 2011. Apparently, the director said, "We want to find a mask for the character that was terrorizing." So they ran out to a store and they bought a mask of my face, Shatner recounted. This was used in the movie Halloween, and it was my face on the deadly character who killed people. The addendum is one Halloween, my kids said, "I want to go trick-or-treating," and I wanted to go with them. So I put on the mask, laughs, trick-or-treat. And we all laughed at that for a while. Then I got more candy than they did. The original 40-year-old mask has since weathered after former owner Dick Warlock, the best name in movie history. Under the Michael Myers stunt performer in 1981's Halloween 2 improperly stored the prop in an Elvis Presley tin container. Should have been a tin of Christmas cookies. It would have lasted forever. New prop was crafted for Blumhouse production 4 decades later, sequel Halloween, by the Walking Dead and Avengers Infinity War FX artist Christopher Allen Nelson, who faithfully recreated and subsequently aged up the mask from John Carpenter's 1978 original. It opens October 18th.
19th.
19th. I can't. It's behind Creepy's head. I can't read it.
Okay. Yes, October 19th is when the movie will be coming out.
Okay, so yay. Halloween.
Yay. Yes, Halloween, with a possibility that William Shatner may appear as a cameo.
Nerdman says that Dick Warlock was their high school nickname.
Love it.
But yeah, it's kind of funny with the whole thing with Halloween coming out this year because I've been planning the summer of Halloween for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if I mentioned this on Alive and Wired or I mentioned it somewhere else, but think that it was back on the 25,000 subscriber special, like 25K. Yeah, I think in there I mentioned like people were asking about reviewing Halloween. And
Oh.
I think in there I mentioned that it would be best as a summer special or something like that. But nobody wants to hear Summer of Halloween coming 2018.
Yeah.
I had
Harry
already
Flynn.
pretty much planned it, but I didn't want to say that I planned it and when it was coming because that was back in 2016, 20. Yeah, it was a while ago.
Harry Flynn says, "I'm not going to watch the new Halloween movie since Decker is not going to be in it." That's very
Oh,
sweet. All right. Well, we have a few more articles to cover. So let's talk about the other thing that was actually featured on the title card. So we did talk about the Judge Dredd possible TV series and possible video game. So let's actually talk about something that is going to happen. And this thing is not popping up. I'm going to have to find another link because it won't work. So,
Damn.
Eddie
yeah.
Herter says that Dick Warlock is Decker's new D&D character name.
Yes. I mean, that name is just so awesome that I guess that, that I guess they decided, hey, you know what? Let's actually, use that nickname for real. Okay, I found it. Okay, so here we go. So what is actually coming for realsies is Rogue Trooper, which is based off of which is based off of a comic book series from the 80s. There is going to be a theatrical movie based off of it, and the person who's going to be behind the director's chair is Duncan Jones. You might know him from Moon, Warcraft, more recently Mute, which was the Netflix movie we talked about a while ago in a previous Live and Wired. So now he is involved in this movie. So
this is another 2000 AD property, which is similar to Judge Dredd in that sense.
That's correct. So, we're getting another movie.
This episode.
Yes.
Only took 2 hours to reveal that.
Yes, finally, I know. We have $5 from Nicholas Humphreys, who says, "Bit outside your usual stuff, but I'm still going to make these requests from any of you." Shane Ackers 9, the Reverend, or Pan's Labyrinth.
Reverend and Pan's Labyrinth, I know of.
I have seen
Nine.
Pan's Labyrinth.
I think that I could do those. I don't know at all what Shane Ackers 9 is.
I know what 9 is. It's the animated movie that was produced by Tim Burton. It's animated, and it takes place in a kind of post-apocalyptic future of some sorts, I believe. I don't really remember too much about it, but I did know that it came out, and not a lot of people seem to remember it, and now it's gained kind of like a cult following.
Sounds interesting.
It is pretty interesting. I do remember seeing
Sounds
it.
like something that I'd want to track down.
Yeah. All right. So, the filmmaker Duncan Jones on Sunday teased a new Rogue Trooper movie via his Twitter account. The director behind films such... go ahead.
Bears 1992 is asking how to use Predator in an It title joke, and I know exactly how. Stephen King's Predator.
You did it. Oh my God. I can't believe that we're actually still going on in this. I mean, how long has this been going on? This has been going on for at least maybe almost an hour?
Oh, I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people in the chat saying that they never thought they'd be this tired of Predator.
Well, if the movie does horribly, then you'll say, yeah, I want to take a break from it for a while.
Yeah.
Now, I feel sorry because for a second, it actually had stopped being all about Predator. Now it's just boom. Now that I mentioned another Predator title, it's just exploding.
Okay, yeah. I can't believe it. And yes, Liam D. Duncan Jones is David Bowie's son.
Right.
Okay, so let's see. Director behind films including Moon, Source Code, Warcraft, and Mute posted a teaser video which he ponders what the subject of his next film should be in rhyming poem format. One for them or one for me, studio or we indie, he says in a voiceover. Shall it make a comic book movie, a Marvel film, perhaps DC, Image, or Dark Horse? Maybe. After more pondering, he concludes, yes, one from the Megaverse. Now let me see. Who should it be?
Dobby, why are you an asshole?
As he takes off his hat to reveal a blue mohawk similar to the one worn by Rogue in the comic book series, the screen fades to black with the words, "If that is not enough of a clue," appears. And this is when it is confirmed that he is going to be doing a movie based off of Rogue Trooper. What is Rogue Trooper, you ask? Rogue Trooper, co-created by Watchmen's Dave Gibbons and writer Jerry Finlay Day. The high concept behind Rogue Trooper is remarkably simple: an ongoing war between two human factions, the Norts and the Southers. The Civil War references weren't particularly subtle, although to all intents and purposes, the Norts are essentially space Nazis, who has become centered on New Earth, a planet so destroyed by the conflict that soldiers can only survive with the assistance of breathing apparatus and chemsuit armor. Seeking the edge, scientists from Southers, Millicom.
Oh, sorry. The Nestine 100 is like, Davi, why are you an asshole? Harry Potter outtakes number 397.
Oh, man.
Harry Potter, I've come to save you. No, Dobby, you're being an asshole.
No, Dobby actually was not named after Dobby from Harry Potter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Charlie, when she got Dobby, thought that Dobby was female. Everyone said Dobby was female. And they were tiny little kittens. So it's really hard to tell, especially if you're not a trained vet or haven't had kittens raised from very young age several times before to the point where you know.
Right.
So I can't remember. I don't know the name of the British comedy. But there's this one character who was named, their name was Debbie, but they went by Dubby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And that's who Dobby was named after.
Oh, okay. I see. Well, I'll probably have to look it up as soon as I've finished reading this because I do have the screen share. Let's see. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Seeking the edge, scientists from Southers, Millicom created a breed of seemingly unstoppable clones called genetic infantrymen, GIs for short, only for them to be massacred upon their arrival on New Earth. Only one survived with a new mission: find the traitorous Southern High Command general that betrayed the GIs and kill him. There's a twist, however. The narrative twist to help Rogue, as he's become known, offer exposition to readers without having to talk to himself all the time. Although Rogue was the only surviving GI, he was accompanied on his mission by 3 fallen comrades because he had rescued their biochips, essentially a computer chip with their personalities on them, and implanted it to his equipment, giving him a talking gun, backpack, and helmet to crack wise even when the chips were down. There's 3 supporting characters who proved to be a significant part of the series' appeal. And right over there is the comic.
Nerdbane's asking, is this an Attack of the Clones remake? Now, I'm wondering if that's in a reference to what's going on in the article, or everyone's still talking about Predator titles.
I don't know.
He's saying, I missed something. I think I just drank too much Jaeger.
Yeah, so it goes more information about Rogue Trooper and discussing more in details of it. You get to see the comic and what it entails. But long story short, once again, this is new information that we are going to be having a Rogue Trooper movie based off of another 2000 AD comic book series similar to Judge Dredd. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I guess it's a nice refreshing change of pace that the comic book movie that we're going to be getting is not going to be based off of Marvel or DC.
Stop or my Predator will shoot.
Oh.
God.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Decker Dose the Predator.
Yes, I see. Like everyone, like the majority of people are sick of the Predator talk, but I'm still loving it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying our very best to kind of like give you some new stuff to look into and learn about, but I guess, you know, if one joke sticks, then you just keep on going until you're tired of it.
Yeah.
12 Angry Predators.
The Passion of the Predator Christ.
No, I don't want that. That would be bad.
Say, Jerry and Maury says, Decker, have you heard the news about Godzilla Heritage? I feel like a kaiju fan such as yourself, you would be very sad to hear about the news. If you have time, you could get something. Scroll up. Everyone's just talking about Road to Predation.
I got it. Have you heard the news about Godzilla Heritage? I feel like a kaiju fan such as yourself, you'll be very
Tucker
sad
and
to hear
Dale
about
versus Predator.
Godzilla Heritage. All right. Well, I didn't have that on the list, but I'll see if I can be able to find it because, why not?
Why not?
Because
To Catch a Predator. That's Chris Hansen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Poor Patricia. This is like the worst Live and Wired forever.
I'm okay, guys. I'll be okay. All right. We do have a few more other articles to cover. Most of it is just like, hey, there's a new thing coming out. We don't know anything about it. So let's talk about video games. Because let's talk about a video game that may come out, but we don't even know if it is going to come out. So one of them is going to be Metroid. Samus Returns producer teases new 2D Metroid. Super Metroid and Fusion remakes are not planned. Damn it. Oh, well. So there have been talks ever since Metroid Samus Returns came out that there could be a possibility that we may be getting a brand new 2D Metroid game. We do know for sure that we are going to get Metroid Prime 4, as we talked about before, but as for, according to Sakamoto, who is the producer of the franchise, he is teasing that they might want to do something in the future. But what system is it going to be on? What's going to be the game? Nobody knows. So it's up to...
Switch.
Yeah. Well,
Victor,
yeah,
we're
hoping it's for the Switch.
I sounded caught in my sinus area.
We're hoping it's for the Switch. That would be great because...
The Predator who shagged me.
No. Ugh, God.
Not even go there.
No, I'm not going to go there.
I've already gone there.
Yeah. All right. Well, because Samus Returns did so well in sales, the best received entry in the long running franchise in a decade. So I guess the best selling game since let's see. I guess I think it was like the last time that we actually had a good selling Metroid Prime game. Metroid game was probably Prime 3 because it came out in 2007. So
yeah, Prime 3 also came out on the Wii, which was absolute fucking gangbuster holy ass like levels of console sales. Now, a good amount of that were people who didn't give a shit about Metroid, but still, if you were a Nintendo gamer, you had a Wii because it cost like $5. And if you like Metroid, you probably already had a Wii, and boom, there you go. You got Metroid Prime 3.
Yeah, to be fair, Metroid is definitely like the most user-friendly game out of the franchise. It's kind of like very similar to Fusion, in which a lot of it is really linear and you can be able to explore without worrying too much about getting lost. But it's also like Hunters, in which you got to explore multiple places and you get to, try and see if you can explore places like the lava place and the winter place and going over to the space pirates.
I'm also thinking Other M also came out on the Wii, but that was...
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I got both games, but I mean, I played 3. I played some M, but I didn't. Oh God, was it annoying as fuck to try and deal with the fact that in Metroid Other M, Samus is a little whiny bitch that doesn't do shit unless someone tells her to, even though she is perfectly capable of surviving the situation with the shit she has. She's just not gonna fucking do it unless she's given permission.
Right.
That was bullshit. So let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they pretty much just screwed over her relationship with Adam. First of all, that they had more of like a respectable relationship. She kind of saw him as like a father figure if you ever played through Metroid Fusion. But here it's like she almost kind of like sees him as a love interest, and she's willing to do everything that he says, and that's complete crap. And then the whole PTSD thing, I'm not even going to go into that, because if you read the Metroid manga, this has happened when she was 14. And it makes a lot of sense, because he talked about how he ate her mother, and that part of the, her skin is into himself now. It's, I'm done. Okay, I'm done. Okay. If you want to know more my thoughts of the Metroid franchise, I did a podcast of it 2 years ago. Let's go listen to that. Anyway, but I'm hoping that if this 2D Metroid game, I hope that it's Metroid Dread. I've been wanting Metroid Dread forever. I'm hoping that it is, because Metroid Fusion left it on an ambiguous cliffhanger note that she didn't obey the Federation of allowing the Metroids to survive so that they could be able to use it as experiments, and instead she destroys SR-388, and the only part of her, the Metroids that are left, are inside of her when she had the injection, when the X-Parasites took her over. So it's like, I want to know what happens next, but they never gave a conclusion to that. Please let that be the next game, please. I'm hoping so.
It's kind of weird that it sort of came full circle in the first game where it was called Metroid, and a lot of people, because there was no cutscenes, no story shown in the game at all until you get to like the ending. A lot of people were like, "You play as Metroid," and that was absolutely not true. But in Metroid Fusion, yeah, actually, technically, in a way, you sort of do. You are Metroid. You are the only thing that can be called Metroid in this universe.
Yes, and especially let us not forget about the infamous question: why no Metroid Crawl?
Yeah.
And Nerdbane dropped $5 saying, "Decker Shadow, you are now authorized to accept super chats."
Congratulations on being authorized.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I think that once again, we're sorry, everybody. There's not any information about this. This is just speculation.
Speculation. That's the most fun game of all.
Yes, we're hoping it happens, but we don't know if it will. We'll just have to wait.
So if a new 2D Metroid game came out, if it came out on the 3DS, there are technically more 3DSs out there than Switches. It would still be a nice, fun game, much like Samus Returns. It's just you can't really put it on your TV, and it's not going to look as good as it will on the Switch. But it would also be cheaper to make, and therefore they'd probably be able to make it faster.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Epic Jason X9000 says, "Whatever happened to Samus's original green hair?" Yeah, that whole thing. I think it was just like technical errors, like a glitch, because remember that originally came from the whole Justin Bailey password. So we didn't know that was going to happen, because if you remember seeing the original ending of Metroid, if you were able to complete it at a certain amount of time, her hair is brown. And it would be that way until when Super Metroid came out and it was officially blonde. The Game Boy doesn't count.
Also, the first The Legend of Zelda on NES, Link had brown hair, I believe. And then, of course, Link's Awakening Black and White doesn't really matter. But then comes Super Nintendo Link to the Past. He's got pink hair.
Yes.
But then officially later, he's blonde.
Yeah.
Right.
But on CDI, he had brown hair again.
We don't talk about those. But yeah, I mean, and also with Zelda, she always changes up her hair color. Sometimes it's brown, sometimes it's blonde. So yeah, I mean, even as late as his Twilight Princess, her hair was brown. But now in Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, her hair is blonde again. So it changes,
Nerdbane saying that's why Kraid is tiny in the original NES game.
Yeah, that's why. Well,
now I'm just thinking of the what was it? Damn it.
What?
YouTubers make music. It was a it's freaking the animator names. This is there's major stuff that every nerd knows, and it's just a blank in my head right now because I'm an idiot.
Are
feeling better now?
Epic Game Music?
No.
Smooth Groove?
Star something.
And
it was E something.
Well, I'm sure you'll think of it.
Right.
Fuck.
That's okay. No, it's not Ninja Sex Party.
But
it's not Brittle Floss.
Starbomb. Yeah, there we go.
Starbomb. Okay, Starbomb.
And they had a Metroid song.
Yes, they did.
And there's a bunch of fan animations of it because they also have what's that? Ego Raptor.
Yeah, Ego
Right.
Raptor.
He did a bunch of animations for a bunch of other Starbomb music, which he also works on the music itself, I think.
Yes, he does.
But they never had a Metroid song.
They did have a song on Samus.
But they did. There was a whole bunch of fan animations, but it was a lot of interesting things because the comments there, because it's just a tongue-in-cheek little fun little song.
Mhm.
Right.
And there are people who are like, Samus actually doesn't get those emotions because of her Chozo blood and her training and her discipline and stuff. It's like that's.
It's fair.
And it's like, what's a freaking
Right.
rap? Samus. Yes, she killed some puppies. It's what she does. Okay, it's in a song. There was a bounty hunter in the depths of space, and she could easily combine your stupid ass with your face.
All right. Well, I think that calmed things down a little bit. So let's go over to some other discussions. Some more teasers of things to come, and we don't know when it's coming out because that's all that's been announced.
Nerdbane says, fuck those space chickens, and the only thing I can think of right now is like, look at all those space chickens.
Yes. All right, so we have ourselves a teaser trailer for an indie movie called Loose, which is going to be shot in 16 millimeters. This should be really interesting.
Yeah, looking at the trailer, it really was like kind of interesting. I have no fucking idea what it's about at all, but it's very appealing to look at.
Yes.
I don't know what this movie is about. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know who the characters are, but I like the way this trailer looks. You just described a David Lynch movie. You know that, don't you?
That's amazing. I should watch more David Lynch.
Yes. Okay, it was featured in a few film festivals, and the movie is about a young woman possessed by a demon that yearns for the woman it loves. Teaser trailer is down below. This is the official synopsis. A rainy day, a dazed and numb young cab driver, Luce, drags herself into the bright lit entrance of a rundown police station. Across town in a night spot, Nora seductively engages police psychiatrist Dr. Rossini in a conversation.
Oh.
Nora is possessed by Nora is possessed by the demonic entity longing for the woman it loves, Luce. She tells the doctor of her old schoolmate Luce's rebellious past at a Chilean school for girls. Increasingly drunk on her story, Rossini turns into an easy prey in Nora's hands, but is soon called away to the police station to examine Luce. Supervised by his colleagues, the doctor puts Luce in a state of hypnosis that initiates a series of flashbacks, unfolding the events leading to her arrival. But the entity that is taking control of the doctor wants something more. Bit by bit, it slips into Luce's reenactment and makes old memories come to light. And we got some pictures down here.
It's a very artsy kind of looking thing.
Yeah.
But it's by someone who has a good eye for artsy looking things. So that's the thing. I have no fucking idea what's going on based on the trailer. But
I mean, it's German. It's to be expected.
Right.
It does have a very good look to it, and I'm hoping that the whole thing will come together because it's an attractive movie.
Mm-hmm.
That movie got a nice ass.
New Age, yeah, go ahead.
New Age Justice dropped $2. Said, "Shout out my son, Lil Connor Peterson. He loves you." And I'm wondering about Lil Connor Peterson. Like, how young is this son we're talking about? Because YouTube is supposed to be 13 and up.
Little Connor Peterson. I forget I said that. Little Connor Peterson.
No, little Connor's gonna love you, creep.
Thank you so much for the shout out there, and shout outs to Little Connor.
Yes.
Predator strippers.
No.
Das Predator.
No.
Sorry, the chat had just gone away from Predator, and now it's gonna go right back.
Yeah, damn it.
Okay. Quinn Brady's Import says, "Creepy, can you shout out my boyfriend Brett?"
Brett. Woohoo!
You're awesome.
Literal shouting.
Yes. All right, let's go over to our next bit of news. So we talked a little bit about Han Solo Year One, the Star Wars movie. About it features a young Han Solo. We get to see about his perspective when, right before he met up with Luke Skywalker and the gang, and we get to learn more information about the Millennium Falcon. Well, there's details emerging about another movie that may go into the treatment of Year One, and that is the cinematic action classic Die Hard, where we'll be learning possibly about John McCain's life when he was young.
The face on Mr. Willis there, he's just like, oh, yeah, here we go.
Whackity schmackity
the series was over? It should be, but it's not.
Nope, not even close.
So, shall I take this?
Please, go ahead.
It's been a while since we heard anything about the next Die Hard film, possibly because all anyone knew back in 2015 was that AV Club, subscribe, your email address, subscribe, no thanks, okay. That Live Free or Die Hard director Len Wiseman and Bruce Willis were developing a crappy-sounding Die Hard 6, and everyone around them hoped they'd just forget and go play golf or something. Well, they didn't. And now new details are emerging, none of which are doing anything to assuage the ominous sense of foreboding about Die Hard, The Legend of Curly's Gold, or whatever the final title may end up being. Film reports Wiseman is still very involved in developing the sixth installment of the franchise with the working title Die Hard Year One, a name which implies John McCain began dying hard at a young age, turning him to exactly the kind of unstoppable badass he was not in the first movie, because logic is for Russian terrorists, not cops. Speaking of Wiseman, during the events of Fox's The Gifted and Television Critics Associated Press tour, Wiseman directed the pilot episode, he elaborated on some of the details of the upcoming project. As we first learned and lamented 3 years ago, the story will indeed go back and forth in time between the present dating back and forth. What we see in the 70s has ramifications on present-day Bruce. As Wiseman explains, Willis will be working with Wiseman to help select the actor to play his younger counterpart, who perhaps remains uncast because Joseph Gordon-Levitt quietly slipped out the back door as soon as he heard they were looking. And Ellen J. Ahmed dropped 2 pounds saying, "I am naked right now." The main piece of information Wiseman revealed is that the character of Holly Gennaro, McClane's love interest in the first 2 films and unseen mother of his kids in the last 2, will return in the story as a part of the 70s set half of the movie. Presumably, that means Bonnie Bedelia will not be reprising her role, which is too bad because the film would probably be a lot more interesting if they just had her and Willis play their 20-something selves with no de-aging CGI or even makeup. However, Wiseman didn't rule out Bedelia making an appearance as part of a present-day reunion. In what might be an effort to reassure fans that this won't be a train wreck on the level of A Good Day to Die Hard or even mild fender bender a la Live Free or Die Hard, Wiseman insists they won't set a release date until the script is ready to go. Something that apparently was not the case in the last couple of installments. No dates. I've been asked about dates before, and I'm always wrong. The date is when the script is right, which is when we all want to go. The script has taken quite a long time. I want it to be right, as everybody does. The truth is we started prepping Live Free or Die Hard when the script was not ready. The process of working on the script as we were shooting the movie is not the funnest thing in the world to do. We pulled together, but nobody wants to go through that again. There's still a chance this could be a great movie. We're all hoping for that. Unfortunately, there's a much better chance that this will turn out like something cooked up by Bruce Willis and the director of Live Free or Die Hard. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers.
So yes, we might be getting a movie that features John McClane as a 20-something-year-old man and possibly his first adventures out as a cop.
It sounds weird as hell, and the whole thing about the past influencing the future, that sounds like, hey, we have a story, and we have things to build up to it, but it would only make sense if the previous movies didn't exactly go the way they did. So let's do some sneaky retconning here.
Like you do.
Yep.
Nicholas Humphreys dropped $2 Canadian saying, "The summer of Jodorowsky. When did I drop acid?" Okay.
We don't know who that is,
Yeah.
and I don't want to ask.
I don't know. Like, I've seen some of the old Asylum movies that Decker watched, and I feel like that sums up a lot of them.
There's a lot of requests for a Summer of the Asylum. You know this.
Oh man,
Mainly the
no.
people that follow me onto the gaming channel and I'm doing the stream is like, Decca, Some of Asylum, do it! And then they all start ganging up on me like, Some of Asylum! And I'm like, I'm trying to fight through a dungeon.
You don't want that. Trust me, he'll go insane.
Tristan Foss says, the worst retconning was Hermione being black, even though she was never black before.
Oh, you're talking about Harry Potter.
Yeah, Harry Potter. The whole thing with the Harry Potter Broadway
Yeah,
thing
the Broadway
was
show.
a semi-sequel kind of thing. Like, it's not based on a book,
No.
but it's considered a sequel, and the person they
Right.
cast for Hermione was black.
Yes.
And a lot of people were like, what the fuck? And then J.K. Rowling comes in and is like, she could be black. Oh.
I don't really
that's
care, to be quite honest. I mean,
Yeah, I'm like,
have they at least tried to do at least a few characters in a different race? I mean, let's see.
right.
In Daredevil, they made Kingpin black. In the new
I
teenage,
remember-
yeah, and Michael Clark Duncan, and he was like the best thing in the movie.
Michael Clark
Uh-huh.
Duncan is a fucking awesome actor. I'd love to have him in any role. Fuck it.
Right.
Michael Clark Duncan, Superman, done.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like,
Yeah.
And it would
Yeah.
make more sense for black people to come from Krypton if the sun doesn't, nah.
Yeah, and also lest we forget that,
Black
Nick
absorbs
Fury,
light. I'm just saying.
lest we forget that Nick Fury was originally white.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, remember the 90s David Hasselhoff movie?
Oh man.
You don't want to remember. Those were dark times.
Dimeblade17 is asking, whoa, wait. Decker's not insane yet? Shit, he's reviewed, though. How does he have any sanity left? And I don't think he's been paying attention.
So yeah. So to be quite honest,
Well, Wolf Pro 1 is asking, is there any black people in Harry Potter? And
Dean Thomas.
Dean
Yeah,
Thomas.
Dean Thomas.
I haven't followed Harry Potter nearly enough. I watched like the first 2 movies.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Dean Thomas, Kingsley Shacklebolt.
I know that it takes place in pretty much the real world, except Hogwarts exists. People cast magic, but they're kind of in a semi-parallel universe. Like, they just
Yeah,
go
something
through the
like
fucking
that.
wall and they get there, and it's like, okay, let's practice this shit.
Yeah.
And they're not
Yes.
supposed to do it in the normal world, but Ron's there driving his fucking car like, shit, I don't care, I'm in high school now.
The summer of Harry Potter.
You could do it actually, yes, because not counting the 8 Harry Potter movies, you also have the 2 Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them movies.
That's true. So that's
So it is
10
possi-
movies.
That's possible.
Yeah, that's 10 movies because the 7th book was split into 2
The
movies.
2 parts, yes.
Tristan
Yeah.
Floss is saying, I wasn't trying to be racist, but Hermione was white before, which is why it is a retcon. And it's like, in the movies, yeah, they definitely did cast a white actress.
Yes.
In the books, I don't know because I didn't really read them. I've heard people saying, they never really bring it up. And then I've heard
They
people
not
saying,
really.
they bring up some physical features of her that don't exactly say black.
I mean, the only thing that was like specifically stated was that she had like the really puffy hair in the first 3 books, because in the 4th one she shortened it and she straightened it, and
Right.
the buck teeth, which was only featured in the first 2 books, but in the 3rd book she actually had it straightened up, and more specifically in the 4th one because her parents
So
were
by the time they
dentists.
started making the movies.
Yeah, by the time they
Right.
started making the movies, because the movies came out in 2001, so around that time, the 2nd book would have been around, and the 3rd book was just coming out.
And Kat Luniska is saying the cover was an artist's interpretation.
Oh.
Well, Alien J. Ahmed is saying the picture covered showed a white girl.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's like-
true. Again, I mean, they've always changed races and genders for various characters, so
Right.
it doesn't really matter. I mean,
Eddie Herta
Yeah.
says Othello was made by Shakespeare, and he mentioned the main character was black. And I'm thinking, like, I've been drinking enough of this that I believe that Shakespeare was referencing the Harry Potter books. So, Shakespeare says that Hermione is black. Okay, done. Decided.
Right. All right, let's go over to our next topic. So, this actually would be really interesting. So, this is an event that is going to be featuring around the Toronto area next year for all you Canadians out there. We did talk about a while ago about, for all the fans of horror movies, you get to go to see Friday the 13th at the place where it was filmed. So, in this case, we actually do have a treat for some of you guys who are not only horror and sci-fi buffs, but Metallica fans. So, get rid of this advertising. There you go. Yep. So, okay. So,
Christmas treat for you. Boom. That's pretty much my title card for the Cutie Honey review, anyway. So.
Okay. All right. So, Kurt Hammett, horror and sci-fi film art collection to be displayed in Toronto next year. So, Kurt Hammett is the lead guitarist of Metallica, and he's an avid collector of classic horror and sci-fi movie posters. And he's going to be throwing a art gallery showing off his collection next year. So basically, he calls it. Let's see. I don't know. Oh yeah, it's alive. Classic horror and sci-fi art from the Kurt Hammett collection. It'll be from July 13th, 2019 to January 5th, 2020. So if any of you guys are huge fans of sci-fi and horror art and are fans of Metallica, then you have a chance to book your flights over to Toronto, Canada to check it out. Which that should be really cool because it's not every day that we do get a chance to see art based off of classic horror and sci-fi movies. Especially when
it's every day for me.
Well, yeah, it's every day for you, but how often do you get to see it based on, from the guy who leads the, Metallica rock band? Not very often.
The Summer of Predator.
There's only 4 movies. Unless the summer
I've already
is
reviewed 3 of them.
Yeah.
The other one's not out yet.
Cyanical Review says, "What if I don't like Metallica?" Well, the guy, it's just run by the guy who's the lead guitarist. It's essentially just showing off his collection of art of horror movies and sci-fi films. That's pretty much it. I don't think he's going to be playing music during the art gallery event. So, yeah.
The Mad Groper is like, it's a short summer, and at the same time, it's taken me so long to do the reviews on the summer of Halloween. I probably could make 4 Predator movies last an entire summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could.
But yeah, creepy. I got those weights, so I can work out my body to activate my brain, and then I'm working really hard on activating my brain.
Well, at least that's good to know because I think even Creepy mentioned that for people who are going through writer's block, if you just work out your brain, then it should be able to get the blood flowing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea to work out in general, but it's like for being an internet personality, for having a very sedentary, is that the word? I think so.
Yeah, sedentary, yeah.
A very sedentary lifestyle. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm working on internet, my entertainment is sitting here and looking on internet, and I don't go out and run, I don't haul boxes and do stuff like that anymore. So I stopped moving a lot compared to how I used to, and it's a good idea to do something physical anyway, just because living it's enjoyable. That's that Decker Shadow 2018 living. It's enjoyable.
Jirian Mori says, "I'm working really hard to get my brain active. Chug some alcohol."
Yeah, you gotta relax too. You gotta have your rest and your active and your your entertainment and your focus-sighting.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta have your video game and your C-SPAN.
C-SPAN? I didn't expect that from you.
You gotta have your Live and Wired and goddamn power outage. It's the balance of things.
Speaking of balance, Jason Coab asks, "Did you like the last Airbender movie?" No.
I did
No.
not see it, so I cannot say.
No,
I've heard bad things about it, especially from the last 2 people I've spoken to.
It's not good. You don't want to watch it.
Right.
All right, let's go over to our next set of news. So,
And
Star
Kevin Burdine
Wars.
says Metallica are a bunch of sellouts who would sell their own mothers for $1.
Damn.
Oh God,
Well-
James Mays says Mighty Morphin Power Predators.
Wow. Actually, really clever. It's amazing. I'm speechless. All right, so Star Wars. Let's talk about Star Wars now. Okay, so they revealed more information about who the cast will be. Returning and new cast members will join together for the final installment of the Skywalker saga, because it was only going to be through episodes 7 through 9, and then they'll do a whole bunch of spin-offs and probably do some other things. So, who wants to read this one? Yeah, how about you, Creepy?
Toby Kirkby says
will.
Patricia is losing the will to live.
I am.
Aw, poor Patricia.
I'm just tired. It's been a
Yeah,
long day.
honestly.
And now I'm goading everyone on to make for 2 hours straight. Make Predator titles.
Anyway, Star Wars Episode 9 will begin filming at London's Pinewood Studios on August 1st, 2018. J.J. Abrams returns to direct the final installment of the Skywalker saga. Abrams co-wrote the screenplay. Screen Predator. Abrams co-wrote the screenplay with Chris Terrio. Returning cast members include Daisy Ridley, Adam Driver, John
Kitten
Boyega.
Fly Cute says Patricia is losing the will to Predator.
I am predatored out.
Yeah, I'm getting predatored out with myself. Like, this article is starting to blur on me a little bit. Oscar Isaac, Lupita Nyong'o,
Yeah, Nyong'o.
Domhnall Gleeson, Kelly Marie Tran,
I just want to say thank you for not having me read that out.
Jonas Suotamo, and Billy Lord. Joining the cast of Episode 9 are Naomi Aki, Richard E. Grant, and Kelly Russell, who will be joined by veteran Star Wars actors Mark Hamill, Anthony Daniels, and Billy D. Williams, who will reprise his role as Lando Calrissian.
We did discuss about that in the last Live and Wire.
Mm-hmm. The role of Leia Organa will once again be played by Carrie Fisher, using previously unreleased footage shot for Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Toby Kirkby says, we broke Patricia and Creepy. 1 to go.
Uh-oh.
It's getting blurry because Creepy isn't wearing the face mask. Where was I?
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher. Finding a truly satisfying conclusion to the Skywalker saga without her eluded us. We were never going to recast or use a CG character. With the support and blessing from her daughter, Billy, we have found a way to honor Carrie's legacy and role as Leia in Episode 9 by using unseen footage we shot together in Episode 7.
Predator.
Oh, brother. Composer John Williams, who has scored every chapter in the Star Wars saga since 1977, A New Hope, will return to a galaxy far, far away with Episode 9. Star Wars Episode 9 will be produced by Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams, and Michelle Rizwan, and executive produced by Callum Green and Jason McGatlin.
Yeah. Okay. We're done. Yeah, we're done with this one. So
Liam D says a horror movie where the hosts are so sick of the live chat they slowly kill themselves.
Or even better yet, slowly kill the people who annoy them.
Yeah.
Wendell Hacken says Halloween 2018, The Return of the Predators.
Yeah,
I'm all for the Predator chat.
I know you are. You can't get
like
enough
the only
of it.
one. I'm gonna name.
Which is why you'll never break Decker down.
Yeah.
Yes. So the whole thing with Carrie Fisher as Leia Organa in Episode 9, using unreleased footage from Episode 7.
Yes.
I mean, on the one hand, I kind of, I understand the aspect of she's not dead in the movies. we're not creating a CGI character or recasting her.
No.
We're trying to respect her legacy, but I'm wondering, like, there is a fine line to walk to use this footage, but at the same time, they already know exactly what footage they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, to be fair, I mean, at least they're respecting her by actually showing off maybe like a handful of scenes that she's in. Maybe it's not going to be like the main focal point of the movie, because this is supposed to be the last one in the Skywalker saga. So maybe when we see a trailer, which we've been saying pretty much all night, because there's been very few trailers of anything we've talked about tonight, because everything's been announced. So maybe when we see a trailer, maybe we'll delve more into what's gonna be a focal point in Carrie Fisher's portrayal in the movie.
Rebby the Wolfie says, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of worried about episode 9. I loved episode 8 so much, and so much happened in it, it almost felt like the conclusion of a series, not the middle.
I mean, that is fair. That's absolutely fair.
Very true.
I think that's interesting, because most of the, not most, like, I don't know, I haven't really gauged it, but I know a lot of people really did not like episode 8.
Yeah, they really. So a lot of them really don't. I mean, every time that people talk about episode 8, there's always like a polarizing opinion. It's really just split down the middle. Some people love it, some people hate it. There's no in between.
That's making me think of it. Episode 9 might turn out kind of like Alien Covenant, because Prometheus was pretty polarizing, and Alien Covenant was kind of Prometheus again, but at the same time, it tore down everything from Prometheus to ask the same questions that were asked in Prometheus.
Yeah,
Right.
and since J.J. Abrams is coming back to doing episode 9 when he previously did episode 7, so that makes me wonder about what is he going to do in terms of finishing up the story.
Is episode 9 going to be episode 8 if J.J. Abrams did it?
That's a really good question. Yeah, that's. I mean, again, we need a trailer.
I still need to see episode 8 too.
Yeah. That's going to be quite a review, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to have their thoughts on it.
And Liam D saying people hated it so much they tried to force the studio to remake it. And yeah,
yes, we did talk about that.
The Live and Wired episode, Can I Have a Do-Over?
Yes, the one that I was not in. But I did mention to Decker, please cover this because it's so embarrassing. You know, just because you don't like a movie, you do not demand to make it again because you hated it. That's not how it works.
Hashtag not my Star Wars.
God. All right, let's delve into video games because we need a break from the movies.
I also want to point out I'm not being super dangerous. This thing is locked. You can't cock it right now.
Right.
That's good to hear.
You've been holding this down near some very sensitive areas for a while now, on and off. So, you know, it's like, well,
and I always try and point it in a safe direction regardless. This is things you do with a gun.
But I'm still thinking, I'm imagining this will be the first Live and Wire where Decker has to leave at the end to go to the hospital.
Toby Kirkby says, pointing guns on stream, RIP monetization.
I think my chat's a little lagging on my side, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit slow. Maybe we're getting the lag now. I guess the buffering is on our end.
Patricia, you saw it before it popped up on my end, so.
I'm looking at it through my cell phone because
Cat asks me to put down the 6-shooter. Au contraire, this is a Taurus Judge tracker. It only has a 5-shot cylinder.
All right, well.
Therefore, I can't shoot him 6 times!
All right, so, okay, I guess we can go over to our next video game news, which I can't believe that this is actually happening. Let me just pull this up. There we go. Okay, Def Jam possibly making a new wrestling game.
Woo!
Yeah. So for those who don't know what this is about, so there were 3 games in the series of Def Jam games. There was Def Jam Vendetta, Def Jam Fight for New York, and I always forget the third one, but that third one anyway sucks. So
The only one I played was Fight for New York, which was fucking awesome.
that you mean you yeah, you got the good one. That was awesome, by the way. And I actually have played that game. Don't question me on why.
It's kind of funny, like no matter what voice you choose for your character, they always have the same animation and line when they beat someone. With when you're doing the career where you create a character and you go through and all this stuff, you create a character. No matter what voice you choose, they always say the same thing when they beat someone.
Yeah,
you
that's
just got
true.
owned, bitch.
And while you're down there, how about you shine my shoes? Yeah, so basically, the game is essentially about that you are this newcomer, and you have to fight your way toward the top by fighting off against the Def Jam artists at the time. So you got to fight against characters like Ice-T, Exhibit, Snoop Dogg, Fat Joe, Sean John, and in Fight for New York, you actually got to choose a girlfriend between like Kimberly Simmons and
Patrick Johnson here says, "Oh, so you bring back Def Jam, EA, but Skate 4 must remain in the dumpster. I see how it is."
Yeah, it's quite sad. Anyway, a few weeks ago, the Def Jam Recordings Twitter account posted up a mock-up of the PlayStation 4 box showing a hypothetical Def Jam and asking for fans if they want to see a game come out. Most of it overrode it as an overzealous social media manager trying to raise engagement by bringing up an old game that people like that is until today, when it seemed like Def Jam has decided to lean on it. So, which one do you want to see next? Def Jam Fight for Atlanta, Fight for LA, Fight for Chicago, Fight for Miami. If there is art to subtlety, it is not being applied here. So the Def Jam games were praised for their use of the Aki engine, a wrestling engine created by the Aki Corporation, focusing on the grapple system, which it is true because if you ever played Fight for Vendetta, I mean, not Fight, Fight for New York, you had 5 different fighting options. You had street fighting, kickboxing, submissions, I believe it's martial arts, and I forget what the 5th one was, but you did have a variety of different fighting. Oh, wrestling, that's what it was. It had a different variety of wrestling, and basically the game was, surprisingly praised for its time for its fluidity and its variety of different games. And so let's see. If a new game was being developed, isn't going to be likely to resemble what it is known a few generations ago. It also seems unlikely EA would be involved again. Not to mention, many of the rappers under the label for previous games are now elsewhere, with DMX notably in jail for tax fraud. Yeah, it's true. In fact, I actually pulled up who the current artists are for Def Jam. Nobody that I even know who they are. The only one I know of is Justin Bieber and Kanye West, which if I get to play a game where I get to punch Justin Bieber into submission, I would love it.
I would play that as Kanye West.
Yeah, I don't even know who any of these people are except for those. So, yes, I want to
look. Damn, I really don't.
I don't know any of these people either. So all I know is Justin Bieber and Kanye West. But seriously, if I get to play a wrestling game where I get to kick the crap out of Justin Bieber, I would be so happy. Seriously.
How is Justin Bieber on the same label as Kanye?
I have no idea. But seriously, but yet this is just a tease. It's not been confirmed. But still, I mean, that would be freaking amazing. Just don't make it like the 3rd game in which you had to use music to rhythmically fight somebody. That was stupid.
Okay, Eddie Herter says, I know like more than half of these guys. So I guess I'm just old.
Yeah, we're just old. We are way behind on the new rappers and hip-hop artists. You can tell how old we are when we know none of these people. Gucci Mane as an unlockable character. That could be cool because somebody who sold diamond rings, who is like really well known, was in Fight for New York, where you get to customize your bling.
Satoshi Katsumoto says, beating Justin Bieber's teeth in? Shut up and take my fucking money, bitches.
That would be awesome. The Mad Groper says, no, you just have taste, Decker Shado.
That's not true, and you know it.
I was surprised to hear that too.
Yeah. All right. Let's. We're almost reaching the 3-hour mark. Let's just cover a few more right before we conclude this.
On the video
Yeah.
game stuff, I was wondering about talking about the Spyro thing.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I actually do have that. Let me just go pull it up real quick. I actually still do have that on my my phone. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have it on my phone, but I could always look it up on the internet because I have the power to do so. Let's see, Spyro. Here it is. I got it. Okay. There we go. Spyro Reignited Trilogy physical copies only had the first game on the disc, which sucks. Go ahead.
2 of the 3 games in the forthcoming Spyro Reignited trilogy must be downloaded and are not on the retail disc, according to the game's official site. The news has upset some fans. Spyro the Dragon is on the disc. Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage and Spyro Year of the Dragon must be downloaded. We've reached out to Activision for an explanation. A comment given to PlayStation Lifestyle yesterday didn't answer the question of why this was necessary. As with most games today, downloading an update after purchase is quite common. The language on packaging and on the web is to let players know the requirements for Spyro Reignited Trilogy, the statement said. Redditors who noticed the fine print speculated that developers could be working on remastering these 2 games right up to the anthology's September 2021 launch date on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. This has become a common practice, especially for sports titles developed on an annual cycle. Spyro Reignited Trilogy was announced on April 5th. Toys for Bob, which created the Skylanders franchise, is handling the 3 games remastering, which Activision says are being remade from the ground up. Update. An Activision representative returned our request with comment with...
Here's an update. An Activision representative returned our request for comment with the same statement given to the PlayStation Lifestyle. So pretty much that, which you just saw.
Great.
Right.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, the thing is, the whole thing about, this has happened to Nintendo gamers a lot. Like, I'm here with my Switch. There's lots of games on this thing that could fit on physical media that is available by Nintendo, but then they said, nah, we're not going to put all the games on it because we're going to use the cheaper one to hold one of the games, and then you're going to have to download the other ones because it's just a little too expensive for us. And then Capcom comes out and they're like, for our Mega Man Classics collection that can easily fit on one of the cheapest fucking ones you have, actually, we're going to have to go for the absolute cheapest fucking one you have and only provide one of the games, and you're going to have to download the rest. And a PlayStation 4 discs, 50 gigabytes. The Spyro games, when they came out on PlayStation 1, the CD's maximum capacity was 500 megabytes. So that's like 1% of the size.
Yeah.
Remastering it is going to be bigger. It's going to be a larger game. But not 50 fucking gigs or 25 or anything like that. It's because when you only get one game and have to download the rest, the download code expires after you use it. Reselling this game has no value. That used game market that they hate so much, they don't have to worry about it with this shit. They've been doing this to Nintendo gamers for a while. Now they're doing it to everyone else.
Yeah. And you know what the sad part of this is? This isn't the first time that they've done this. Remember Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5? Remember how that game was glitchy as hell and it was practically unplayable? Well, you know that they did that huge patch that you had to download when you put the game in?
That was actually... I mean, I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's
go
not
ahead.
Quite the same as destroying the resale value of it. It destroys the value of the game entirely because the whole thing has to be downloaded with the patch.
I know, but I'm not done yet. So you see, the reason why you had to download the patch was because that is not a patch. That's the rest of the game. The disc only has the tutorial.
Yeah.
So let's hear this. So because Activision does not have the rights to the Tony Hawk Pro Skater franchise anymore because it expired. So let's just say that a person were to buy this game in the future for whatever reason, and if their servers have shut down and you cannot download it for whatever reason, you're going to have no game. You're just going to have the tutorial, and that's all you're basically going to have.
The difference I see is with that in this situation is that counts even if you buy it new. It's just a fucking terrible fucking package they have with the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater thing.
Exactly. So it's not even worth it.
Whereas with Spyro and Bayonetta on Switch and Resident Evil Revelations Collection on Switch and the Mega Man collections on Switch and pretty much most third-party games on Switch that say, hey, guess what? You got to download the rest. A lot of it is, when it's a whole section, it really just it requires a download code which is tied to your account, and therefore if you sell the physical media to GameStop, well, I guess not GameStop anymore, but Walmart, and they try to sell it to someone else used, they're not going to get the rest of the package. It's just going to be that little tiny bit that's on the physical media. It absolutely just curb stomps the resale value of your physical games. Patricia, you seem a little frozen.
Hello?
She looks a little frozen on my side. I think it says a little... I shouldn't have interrupted her because this was the last chance she had to say anything. This is what happens when I interrupt people.
And you realize now that she's not here, that means the entire show is going to go to hell because we've already been here before once.
No!
Yeah, pretty much.
Why? Patricia, come back. Come back. No, the phone's going off now.
You realize I should be the one saying that, not you.
Hey everybody, I'm back.
Thank goodness.
My internet crashed.
Oh man.
That's a great way to end it.
Oh god.
Like this show wasn't already a crazy disaster as it was.
Nerdman saying do a drunk stream. I think like just me like a little tipsy is enough. We don't need to get creepy drinking. We don't need to have like all of us. Like, especially, Patricia, you are like the designated driver even when we're sober.
Yes, exactly. So I need to keep you guys straight. Imagine me drunk.
Yeah.
I'm gonna down myself a couple of sangrias and just go crazy. Yeah, sure.
So you like sangria, learning things about you.
Yes, yeah. I do like sangria.
I think this should be the last one, though, because we've been at this for 3 hours.
Yeah, we're done. I think, and trust me, everything else is just... This new thing is coming out. We don't have a date for it. That's everything. So we're done. We're done here.
Well, we can do a little quick rundown exactly what's coming out, or we have some information saying maybe it's coming, but we don't have any other information about it.
Yeah,
like anything concrete at all. Just like a quick like bullet point, like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
No problem. I can do that.
Sure.
Let me see. Let me just pull out my sheet for just 1 second. Okay.
Final Fantasy: The Predators Within.
Yes. We're getting a new Final Fantasy with Predators as DLC. That's going to be next. Okay. All right. So, okay. So just quickly discussing about stuff that's coming out that we don't know anything about. Okay. Here we go. Quick recap. Okay. We have a trailer for a movie called The Basement, which is very similar that a lot of people are saying to M. Night Shyamalan's Split. There's a trailer in the bottom. There's going to be a clown and a priest and Benedict Cumberbatch. There's somebody who's switching in between a whole bunch of personalities. And there you go. That movie's going to be coming out soon. Next one. Let's see. This thing's crazy. Okay, here we go. Okay, next one. Okay, next one.
The Mad Groper dropped $2. Says, "You guys are great. Thanks for all the fun tonight." You are very welcome.
Yeah,
Very welcome.
Detective Pikachu. Yeah, and you're
Detective
very
Pikachu. Yes, Detective Pikachu moves from Universal to Warner Brothers. This is the second news involving with Ryan Reynolds because he's going to be the voice of Pikachu in the movie, even though that it's somebody else is the voice of Pikachu in the video game. So the Burbank studio has taken over the distribution duties on Legendary's upcoming Pokemon movie, and the two entities are in talks of a larger distribution deal. Instead of Warner Brothers, it's going to instead of Universal, it's going to go over to Warner Brothers. So next one. Let's see. We already talked about that. Okay, next one. Here we go. Netflix has picked up horror comic Lock and Key for a TV series based off of a comic book series. It's going to be having a 10-episode season. It's based off of the IDW comic. It should be coming out relatively soon. There's no information on when it's going to be, but there you go. There's another Netflix series.
Nerdbane is disappointed. No Danny DeVito is Pikachu.
Yeah, sorry about that. When Danny DeVito heard about that, he didn't even know what Pokemon was. So
right.
no.
Rob Bear Interactive says Predators gotta hunt them all.
All right, next one. Okay.
Castlevania Season 2.
Yes, Castlevania Season 2. That's the wrong one. Sorry. I don't mean to click on the trailer. I meant to click on the article. There we go. Castlevania Season 2 coming out. Going to feature Hector from Castlevania Curse of Darkness. It's going to be coming out relatively soon. This is based off of the popular Castlevania video game series.
Downblade 17 dropped $2 saying, broke till payday, so this is all I can do. Sorry. No reason to apologize, sir. Thank you very much. Every little bit helps.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We really do appreciate it.
We do.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for your patronage.
Kevin Burdine says, been a dick, comer back.
No. Next one. Okay, so next one we have an upcoming horror movie. Hereditary director Ari Aster is setting up for his next horror film. It's let's see what the movie is called. The cast is starting to take shape. Will star in the film, has a synopsis very similar to The Wicker Man. It's
Jackson Beard says, fuck this, I'm always ignored, I'm out of here. Sorry about that.
Sorry, we have a lot of things to cover. Anyway, so the movie is going to be about a couple that travels to Sweden to visit their friend's rural hometown for its fabled Midsummer Festival. What begins as an idyllic retreat quickly devolves into an increasingly violent and bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult. Again, very similar to like The Wicker Man, in which there is a pagan cult involved. Don't know the name.
17 says, Jesus, Patricia can talk as fast as Decker when the occasion calls for it.
Don't underestimate Patricia. Never underestimate Patricia.
Yes. All right. Next one. Okay. Let's see. What's the next one? Oh yeah. Here's the next one. Okay. Jason Momoa is going to star in an Apple sci-fi series called C.
Of course, Aquaman in C.
Yes. The series is described as an epic world-building drama set in the future. Momoa will play Baba Voss, a fearless warrior leader and guardian. Oh, really? He's going to play a warrior leader and guardian like nothing he's ever played ever. This is a completely new role for Jason Momoa.
I can't wait to see him in the new Oceans movie.
Yes.
The ZXKUQYB dropped $10 saying, use this to buy Creepy another friend. Now, I don't know if he means like human or plushie.
I think he means plushie.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And Patrick Johnson says Patricia vying to be the next Micro Machines person.
Okay.
All right, next one. Trailer for a UK action movie called Final Score starring David Bautista. This clock is ticking tick-tock of the release of official trailer for Final Score. After deadly terrorists abduct his niece at a soccer match, an ex-soldier with lethal fighting skills wages a one-man war to save her and prevents mass destruction. Sounds very similar to Taken.
It actually looks kind of similar to Die Hard as well.
Yeah. This, according to what this article says, this reminds me a lot of the 90s action movie Sudden Death with JCVD, also set in a stadium. And the filmmakers have admitted it was a major inspiration. That sounds kind of awesome. No thanks to kicking ass, although it seems cheesy but fun. Some scores will never be settled. And here's the trailer for you guys to check out and enjoy. And, oh yeah, that's right. One more thing. I have one more, and then I can be finished with this. Yes.
Hooray!
Okay, finally, last but certainly not least. Eli Roth's History of Horror is getting a premiere date on AMC, which will be a 6-part History of Horror documentary series. Will be starting off in October 14th, featuring A-lister storytellers like Stephen King, Quentin Tarantino, Jordan Peele, Jason Blum, Robert Englund, Linda Blair, Tippi Hedren, Rob Zombie, Haley Joel Osment, Jack Black, John Landis, J.B. Lee Curtis, and more, discussing about movies from the past and the future.
Think about Cinemassacre's Master Madness with a larger budget and less episodes.
Yes, and done.
Yeah.
Woo! And only 8 minutes to spare. We should probably do this more often. Then we'll shave it by at least 3 hours. All right.
That'll be the entire Live and Wire. We'll get it done in 15 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, boy.
Jaron Maury says, Live and Wired, episode 17, sandwich, and tons of shit to cover. Yes, we do.
Yes.
Tons of shit to cover that has little to no trailers and no release dates and no plot synopsis.
Patricia versus Eminem.
That's awesome. My money's on Patricia, by the way.
Thank you.
But I think we're done for tonight.
Yeah, we're finished here.
We got to talk about what we are working on right now. What self-promotion, all that happy stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got, Creepy?
Ladies first.
Okay. Recently hit 4,000.
I don't want to go first.
Shut up, Decker. Patricia.
I recently hit 4,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. And also, I did an unboxing a few days ago of something that I paid a certain amount of money for an Indiegogo page. And I also did a live stream today in celebration of that 4,000 subscriber celebration. And I'm going to be having an episode of my podcast out by next week. So stay tuned for that. So, okay, guys, take it away.
I've got another crossover. I did a crossover with the Dark Phoenix saga, but I have another crossover with a different reviewer coming up, and other than that, it's pretty same old. I'm doing I've got Batman retrospective coming up, another DuckTales retrospective, and the Gym retrospective. So the crossover is one of those, so look for it, promote it, tell people about it, subscribe, comment, rate, etc. Donate to my Patreon.
There you go.
Okay, now I've got. Last week I've pretty much had nothing on the gaming channel. I'm very sorry about that. I've been trying to concentrate and get my head in the right spot. I feel a lot better. But I guess still, got to concentrate, write, script. Summer of Halloween, very important thing. So obviously the next review is going to be Halloween 5. There's a lot of questions about whether or not I'm going to be doing the producer cut versus the theatrical cut or both. And my plans are theatrical cut all the way. Very sorry. That's how it is. That's what I have.
Yeah, so you're talking about the 6th one, right? Because that also has a producer's cut.
Yeah, right. I'm saying people have been asking since the first one.
What your thoughts are on the producer's cut? Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing the theatrical cuts all the way. I'm very sorry. I know a lot of people say there's a lot of major differences between them, and
there is.
And it's like with Alien 3, I understand there's a huge difference between the theatrical cut and the director's cut. Also, Nerdbane just dropped $10 saying, at Old School Lane, a bit off topic, but I saw your review on Disney's Doug. I really enjoyed it and considered rewatching the series. Can't wait to see more reviews in the future.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. I'll definitely be doing some more stuff when things are more settled in. I'm actually doing a top 20 list as my next one because I asked my followers on Twitter on a poll about what you guys would like to see me do next, and the top 20 list was major priority. So I'll be working on that next.
Tristan Foss said something about the producer's cut, which makes me not want to watch it. But anyway, I do want to get back on the gaming channel. I hope to do a stream on Sunday, tomorrow. Tonight, not so much. I'm really, really worn out, really done a lot of stuff today.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Also, I've been already a little doing some stuff that I shouldn't. But anyway, me and Creepy are back on doing some Toku Hero riffs.
Nice.
So that's good.
That is.
I mean, he has to work extra hard, I understand, to get me to actually do something, but it still happens eventually. So it's better than the part of time when it wasn't.
Anyway.
And let me think. There was something I was going to say. I know it, but I can't remember what it was. Well, I'm working on getting my driver's license.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Congratulations.
Oh, and also I want to hint at one more thing. The next time that we'll be doing Live and Wired, Creepy and Decker may show something that entitles to a particular occasion. Maybe they'll wish to show it, maybe they won't. We'll just see what happens.
Decker has already told me he's not going to make out with me on camera.
Damn it. Oh well.
Oh well. Thank you all for watching. I have been that long-haired creepy guy.
I've been Dr. Shado.
And I've been Patricia.
And remember,
Predator.
Predator.
And sandwich.
Predator sandwich.
Predators. That's the next title. That's the next title. Predator sandwich.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.